Another gorgeous night here in the desert at Palm Springs Stadium here in Palm Springs, California. Coming to you live from Fox Sports 1270 AM radio and the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel presented by Agua Caliente Casinos. We're inside that booth that they're presenting. The Power yesterday, first game of the year, opening day, they won 9-3 against Utah Lab, who are visiting from Ogden, Utah. They come in here tonight for the second game of this series. I'm alongside Charlie Gonzalez. My name is Justin Lee. Welcome, guys, fellow friends, and esteemed colleagues. Charlie, what a game it was last night.
Yeah, it was. Hudson Bonko got the first win of the season, pitching 5 innings. Coming out of the game when they were up 8-0. Had 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, and 2 hits, and it was exciting. And Tyrone Woods to close. Struck out the side in order. We'll see what damage they have in store for tonight.
Certainly will. And a few guys who also did pretty well last night in terms of pitching. They used 5 pitchers in total. Tyrone Woods was one of those highlighted players from last night. He came in that final position, struck out the side. How was he?
He was spectacular. And, you know, one thing to note is he is in reserves. He may come in tonight for some more late-game magic again, and it'll be exciting. There is quite the difference in the lineup for both teams, though, and we're going to see how those matchups kind of balance out.
Certainly. There's a total of 6 players in the lineup tonight for the Power who are making their Power debut and their season debut here tonight. That includes Jamal Ritter, KJ Moon, Bryant O'Neill, Cohen Goes, and Isaac Rodriguez, including the pitcher starting tonight, Lucas Zach, up on the bump.
Yeah, Lucas Zach goes to California Baptist, born in Palm Springs and then moved out to Lake Arrowhead, and now he's playing summer ball in the city where he was born, so I'm sure he's very excited.
Definitely, and a few of those players as well, like we talked about. Who's the most notable player in the batting lineup tonight? The newer people who are making their debut tonight, who do you think will be the standout here?
It's tough to say because based on their college stats, it's tough to see once they transition and they play summer ball, it doesn't always carry over as smoothly. But I will say, Miles Walton, besides Hudson Bonko yesterday getting player of the game, he had 3 hits and a run scored. We'll see what Miles Walton has in store. And he told me after yesterday's game, manager Casey Dill kept the post-game speech quick and to the point, just telling the players to have fun, be themselves, and follow the rules, and everything will go as it should be.
Last night, the Power were able to get 9 runs off of 6 hits, most of those coming off of walks. 12 walks in total handed out by the Ogden Gunners, as they say, but the Utah Lab, in our sake here, walked all those Power hitters last night.
Yeah, there were a lot of walks on both sides, and at some point we had trouble determining a player of the game because all the productivity at the plate, it was mostly measured by them getting on base because of walks, and we couldn't gauge exactly who was the best player. We'll see if that changes today.
Certainly. The pitcher last night starting for the Utah Lab was Eli Aroma. He only pitched 2 innings and 2/3 before giving up 4 earned runs, 5 walks, and 1 strikeout. Tonight, the starting pitcher for them is Kenneth Price out of Lane Community College, number 11. He'll be on the bump for the Ogden Gunners. Tonight is also Little League night here at the ballpark here in Palm Springs, California. All the Little League players from around the community have come out to show themselves here tonight in this second game of this very young season. And what an exciting one it is, for sure. It's a beautiful night.
And one thing in particular, you see that the Little League, it is Little League night, and you have players out there in the outfield. Standing with the outfielders in national anthem. You're going to also have kids along the baselines for both teams. It should be a fun night. The misters are on, keeping everyone cool. It is a little overcast, so yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Well, before we can get action going here and underway, we'll go to the national anthem. Veronica Vallejo is our national anthem singer. We'll be right back. My goodness, does she have some golden pipes in her lungs? That was a fantastic performance from Veronica Vallejo. We don't know if you were able to hear it, audience, but she got some golden pipes. I don't think I can hit those notes.
Yeah, me neither. I would like cough, and that would screw up the whole song. And so, props to her. It was high pitched for most of it, and she stayed in tune. That's hard to do. So props to Veronica.
For sure. Well, hopefully tonight's performance will be spectacular for the Power. We saw post-game fireworks last night. Here in Game 2, you're listening to us live here in the Agua Caliente Casino booth. Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs, and also the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel coming to you live. My name is Justin Lee, next to Charlie Gonzalez, my partner up here in the booth tonight. Thanks for joining us here on the Palm Springs Power Baseball Network. So here we go with warm-ups. Lucas Zach, like we talked about, up on the bump, getting ready. We'll see if Coach Casey Dill will use a handful of pitchers, just like last night against the Utah Lab, who've driven all the way here from Utah, from the city of Ogden, where Utah State is also from. Most of the lineup for the Utah Lab is a big majority Utah State. Starting in the leadoff spot, number 4, Truman Duria. Ashton Burnett is number 2 at number 6. 24, Ethan Hatch. 18, Bodie Goins is in the cleanup spot. 7, Vicente Iwamura is batting 5th. Number 2, Cole Talley is batting 6th from Minnesota State. Number 10, Thomas Summers will be batting 7th. Mason Ward, the DH, will be number 9 and batting in the 8th spot. And then the final spot, number 5, Isaac Hero will finish up in that lineup. Anybody that kind of stands out to you in that lineup here, Charlie?
Well, looking at what went on yesterday, there was a lot of swing and misses and a lot of ground outs. They came out aggressively, the entire lineup for Utah. And to me, the game plan was the pitchers for Palm Springs don't have the best arsenal, so swing at everything you like. That's probably what the coaches were telling them. And they did get a lot of contact, but it didn't result in any hits. There were a lot of flyouts and groundouts. I think what we're going to see is some players get their first hit of this series. Some notable players based on their college statistics, like Cole Talley and Truman Durye, did not have a single hit last night. So I think one of those is probably going to get on base tonight.
Defensively for the Power, Ritter is in left field, number 29, 11, Walton out in center field. KJ Moon making his debut is out in right field. Christian Perez, number 21, had a fantastic night last night, is out there at third base. Cohen Goes is also making his debut at the shortstop position. Rodriguez at second. Kirkland at first. And Brian O'Neill behind the plate. And then Lucas Zach up on the mound.
And KJ Moon says he couldn't be more excited to play tonight. His parents are in attendance.
We've also got the beard batter who we'll talk about standing in the third spot of the lineup, Ethan Hatch. We'll talk about him in just a few minutes. First pitch just about underway here on Little League Night. Here on a beautiful summer's evening. We're on the cusp of getting right into the heart of that summertime. There's still a kid running off the field here, and we're about to get underway. Lucas Zach. First pitch, just a little low under the strike zone. Truman Duria steps in, was the leadoff hitter last night. Didn't have a whole lot of success. Swings and misses at the next pitch. Little changeup from Lucas Zach there. It's a 1-1 count. Winds up and delivers and throws it outside in the righty hitter's batter's box. Makes it a 2-1 count now. Truman Duria, just like many of the other players in this lineup from Utah State, a huge chunk of them. The next guy up was also from Utah State, as that one is delivered upstairs and above the strike zone. Makes it a 3-1 count to start off against Duria. That one's fouled off towards the Utah Lab dugout. Scoreboard reads 2-2 count here. On my book, I have a full count. We'll see if that works itself out in just a second. Full count pitch in our case here up in the booth. Pitch delivered. And that got the outside corner for the first strikeout of the evening for Lucas Zach. Seemed like he painted that one on the outside, Charlie.
Yeah, it did. It looked like it was going to be ball 4, and Truman Duria certainly thought so, and because he took off for first base, and the home plate umpire just stopped him in his tracks. Like, no, you're out.
So Doria goes down looking on the first at-bat of the day. Here's Ashton Burnett, looks at the first pitch. That one's a little outside and low and misses the mark. 350 at the corners, left field and right field, 400 feet to center field here at the ballpark. Here's the next delivery, popped up in the air. Easy enough for the infield as he's backing up Rodriguez at the second base position. He'll land under it and make the catch just beyond the infield dirt. And for the second out, two-way.
Ethan Hatch is our beer batter, so he's going to have a little bit more incentive to get a hit just to make sure the Palm Springs Power fans pay the full price for beer and not a discount.
Exactly. And if he does strike out here, beer will be discounted for the next 10 minutes just for $4. So all the fans here in the stands hoping that might happen. Here's a pitch. He checks his swing. Check over. Yes, he did. First pitch swinging, 2 away from getting $4 beers for the next 10 minutes. Ethan Hatch from Ottawa University of Arizona. A handful of those guys as well in the lineup here tonight. That one's inside and upstairs. Makes it a 1-1 count to Ethan Hatch. Ethan Hatch grounded into a double play last night, reached on an error by the shortstop. That one is another check swing. He appeals to the first base umpire and says he doesn't go, so now it's a 2-1 count early here. Hatch is ahead in the count. That error allowed a run for the Utah Lab last night, the first one, as that one's popped up in the air towards foul territory, and no one's able to get it. KJ Moon sprinting down the way to try to make that catch, but it bounces just inside the bullpen of the Utah Lab there in right field, just beyond the 350 line.
We haven't seen a left fielder or right fielder kind of put their body on the line yet and leap over the wall to make a catch. There was a chance last night over in left field, but because there were kids right there, he kind of stopped and didn't want to crash over the fence. But over on down the right field line, there are no kids, so you expect KJ Moon to try and make a leaping play over the fence. Safety
first, as we say. It's a 2-2 count here, 2 away here in the top of the first. Here's the next pitch. He sends it flying left field, a hard one, and it's way foul. It looked like it went towards the left field light pole up there. Almost took one of our lights out.
Maybe land in the bouncy house. Give a kid a free souvenir.
Oh, boy. Imagine going down the slide and getting a foul ball next thing in your lap.
Or worse, on the noggin.
We don't want that.
No, we do not want that.
2-2 count. He sends one. Shortstop. Picks it up and gloves it. Goiás over to Kirkland. That's a third out. A 1-2-3 inning to start off here for the Power. We're still scoreless as we go to the bottom of the first.
Everyone knows good things come in threes, like Dave & Buster's Eat, Drink, and Play combo for just $19.99, including one mouth-watering entree, a refreshing beverage, a $10 power card, and a whole lot of fun, which means you enjoy a delicious meal for under $10. Oh, look, that's 5 good things. Good things come in threes at Dave & Buster's with the Eat, Drink, and Play combo for just $19.99. Buy online or in-store today.
There's something winning in the Agua. Catch all the action at 360 Sports at Agua Caliente Casinos. Watch your favorite teams on our giant wraparound screens. See live scores on the LED sports ticker. Win big with our bar top games and enjoy great twists on bar food favorites. And with 3 premier casino locations, 360 Sports is the ultimate fan experience. For more information, visit aguacalientecasinos.com.
Whenever you find yourself hungry for something real, simple, and true, we're here for you.
That's what a hamburger's all about.
Try our big...
Back here, we're going to the bottom of the first inning. Still a scoreless game after a 1-2-3 inning by Lucas Zach. The lineup for the Power tonight, Casey Kleinman still in the leadoff spot. He's DHing tonight from Virginia Commonwealth. 29, Jamal Ritter making his debut. Third in the order, Miles Walton, number 11. In the fourth spot, number 27, Mark Kirkland. 21, Christian Perez in the fifth spot. KJ Moon in the sixth spot. Bryant O'Neill in the seventh. Cohen Goiás in the eighth spot. And Isaac Rodriguez in the ninth spot. Defensive-wise for Utah Lab, Ritter in left field, Walton in center field, Whoa, had that way off. Here all in left field, Doria in center field, Summers in right field, Iwamura at third base, Tolly at shortstop, Burnett at second, Hatch at first, and then Goins is behind the plate. And Kenneth Price is our pitcher for the Utah Lab as he'll face off against Casey Kleinman.
Casey Kleinman, he's the only Kleinman twin in the lineup tonight. Cato has the night off.
One of the few brothers on this team. Casey Kleinman, 1 for 4 last night, 1 RBI, 2 runs scored, and 1 walk himself as he faces off and steps into the batter's box. The righty hitter, the first pitch is a heater, and he fouls it off opposite field and down the line and out of play.
In his 2024 season at Virginia Commonwealth University, his team won the Atlantic 10 Conference Tournament, and it started in 56 games for the VCU Rams. And with his resume, everything he has, it's no surprise that Coach Dill has him in the leadoff spot.
Here's the next delivery on an 0-1 count. That one is right down and upstairs. Makes it a 1-1 count to start for Casey Kleinman. He's bounced around a few schools as well. Started at Santa Clara, did not play there, Monterey Peninsula, and then finally Virginia Commonwealth, where he plays with his brother Cato now. As that one's sent right to right field towards the bullpen of the Utah Lab, and no one's able to get it. Summers will settle to go back to his position. Will be a 1-2 count on the next pitch. Just for reference of the left field and corners and center field distance, the Tigers' center field is 420 feet. Here is 400 feet. 420 feet is the longest in the MLB at Comerica Park. Here's the 1-2 count set up for Kleinman. He goes after the pitch that was a little bit outside, bounces off of his left shin or his left hip, and it's a foul ball regardless. So he keeps the at-bat alive. He's still behind in the count 1-2.
Jamal Ritter on deck, one of the late additions to this roster. And we'll get to him in just a minute, but we were all excited when we saw he was starting to see him play.
There's a lot of new starters in this lineup. Jamal Ritter is one of those people as Kleinman fouls another pitch off to the left side. This will be pitch number 6 on the way here. Including him, KJ Moon, Bryant O'Neill, Cohen Goes, Isaac Rodriguez are the players who are making their power debut, including Lucas Zach, who just got through a 1-2-3 inning. He goes after the outside pitch, and Kleinman strikes out on a fastball outside, and he goes down.
Here comes Jamal Ritter from Norfolk State.
Leadoff hitter, striking out, the first strikeout of the night for Kenneth Price, and he'll face off against Ritter here. 1 away, the lefty batter steps into the box, goes after the first pitch, grounder hop up in the air over the head of Price. Second baseman tries to get the layup, and he, in no time there to get Jamal Ritter, he is safe with what seems to be an infield hit.
That chopper bounced so high and it stayed in the air for so long, it bought him enough time to get to first. And the panic on the body language of the second baseman, you knew he was like waiting for it to bounce, did not want to go in front of it and have it go behind him. But that was just a perfect chopper, bought him enough time. You couldn't do that. He couldn't do that again if he tried.
Here's Miles Walton from Sac State will step into the box. He played last night, had 3 stolen bases, 1 for 5. He's got a runner and Jamal Ritter at first after going after the first pitch and grounding a high ball off one bounce over the head of Kenneth Price as that pitch goes on the outside corner and paints it for a strike. Ritter's awaiting check over at first base. Ritter's in there safely. Miles Walton from Clayton, California, 6'1", sophomore at his current school, Sac State. Ritter's going, swing and a miss. That one's in the dirt and not in time for Ritter. He gets a stolen base here.
The first stolen bag of tonight's game, much sooner than yesterday's.
Very much sooner. Didn't really see a stolen base until about the second or third inning or so. Ritter's already in scoring position to start it off for the power. He's also leaning towards third once again. Right here, it's an 0-2 count on Miles Walton. He goes again, and that one is right through the gap. Ritter's going to round third. He's going to score. And an RBI single for Miles Walton gets it started for the Power as they strike first, 1-0.
If you notice on that play, the infielders all came in halfway to the infield, anticipating that type of hit. But the gap in between Iwamura at third and Tolly, the shortstop, was just too big. They could not clear that. And good eyes, by the way, on Jamal Ritter, because had he taken off at a different time, then he probably could have been tagged for runner's interference.
Same pitcher, he just changed his number.
Go you ahead.
Check over at first base. Still is Miles Walton over there at first. Here's Mark Kirkland, big size. Here, recently married as he watches that one in for a strike.
Kenneth Price up to 11 pitches so far and matches his jersey number.
Walton is still waiting. Goes back to first here. Had 3 stolen bases last night, looking for number 4. As Kirkland steps in, the cleanup hitter for tonight. He was there last night. 1 stolen base for him as well, 1 for 2 as Walton goes to second on a steal. It looks like great placement as the ball is in the dirt and out of the glove of Tolly covering that bag. And there's number 4 for Miles Walton after hitting an RBI single to start it off here tonight.
And you see the aggressiveness not only by the pitcher but by the base runners. They each want to beat the other one. They're coming out more aggressively. The pitchers are for Utah. They don't want to see as many stolen bags, and you see that, but it didn't matter. He still got off in time anyway.
There's a lot of speed on this Power roster, and they're putting it all on show here so far within the first 2 games, and it's the first 2 games of the season. We haven't gotten even to the middle of it. Meanwhile, it's a 2-1 count after that last delivery. That was a little inside of Mark Kirkland, who's here in the box. He's bounced around plenty of schools as well. Price is looking over at second. Here's the next pitch. Under the glove of Iwamura, and that goes into the outfield. A base hit for Mark Kirkland. And now runners at the corners as Walton moves over to third.
And the Power picking up right where they left off yesterday. But one big difference is they were getting on base mostly with walks or HBPs, and now you're seeing the bats come alive. 3 hits in a row, 3 singles in a row after Casey Kleinman strikes out to start.
Yeah, 3 hits in a row and already a score for the Power. Here is Christian Perez, who hit a triple last night. 1 for 3, 2 RBIs, which scored in that game last night. He steps in with runners at the corners. First pitch. That one's got the inside corner for the strike. Christian Perez also from Sac State. His teammate Walton's at third. Kirkland's at first. They're all waiting to get in at home with 1 away here in the bottom of the first inning. That next pitch just a little low and inside for a 1-1 count to Christian Perez. Infield is set up in position to possibly make a double play. Tolly and Burnett close by at second base. Hatch is covering first base at the moment. No cover from Iwamura over there at third. Here's the next delivery way outside over in the righty's batter's box.
And the dirt that kicks up, just like the misters here, it creates a cloud, kind of a distraction.
That one's grounded, picked it up by Burnett. Tolly over to first, and that's a double play. But not before the Power can score a run here. Double play ends it here in the bottom of the first. We're on to the second. Power up 1-0 early in this one.
Across the Coachella Valley, you'll find our communities powered by short-term rentals. These rentals bring visitors and dollars to the region. Whether attending events, checking out the art scene, or dining at restaurants, when they spend money, we all score. The nearly $1 billion impact of short-term vacation rentals generates tax revenues that fund police, firefighters, education, and many other programs that improve our daily lives. To learn why short-term rentals are a grand slam for the home team, visit onecv.org.
Like a family setting, you know, we get into conversation, and it's comfortable here is what I guess I'll say. It's comfortable.
The hot cocoa has whipped cream and sprinkles in the whipped cream in the hot cocoa.
very family oriented. You know, they cater to the kids. They got the coloring books and crayons, and they have kid-sized stuff about almost for everything that you would want. So young and old, everybody can enjoy it.
It's the best.
Made from scratch memories. Elmer's.
How do you define adventure? Riding the world's largest rotating tram car? Taking in SoCal's awe-inspiring views? Exploring over 50 miles of pristine wilderness? Enjoying casual or fine dining at 8,500 feet? Discovering our history? Experiencing our scenic trails? Getting that perfect souvenir? Whatever your adventure, you'll find it at the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway. Adventure at its peak. Begin your adventure at pstramway.com.
Upcoming here in the top of the second, Power already scored their first run of the evening after 3 singles in a row to finish out the bottom of the first. Those runs coming from Miles Walton with a single that got through the gap between the shortstop and third baseman. Leading off here will be Bodie Goins for Utah Lab as they face off against Lucas Zach once more, who got out of the top of the first with a 1-2-3 inning. He's back up there on the mound. This is a big fellow as well. Left-handed pitcher, freshman at his school at Cal Baptist. Local kid from Lake Arrowhead, just up the way in the mountains. 6'4", 225 pounds.
And Bodie Goins, pretty formidable himself. You know, in high school, he was a 2-time first-team All-Regional, All-State honorable mention. He batted .376 throughout his high school career and had 57 RBIs.
He's going to be looking to get on base here. First pitch, he goes after it. That one's out of play and over the stadium here in the grandstand at Palm Springs Stadium. You're listening to us live here, Justin Lee, alongside Charlie Gonzalez on Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs and the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. Here's the next delivery, 0-1 count. That one is up in the way and popped up towards the right field side. Moon is coming in. He'll make the running catch. One away.
Yeah, I wonder where his parents are sitting. In that particular hit, though, it looked like it could have been a bloop. Moving backwards was Rodriguez. But then KJ Moon called him off and said, no, I got this. So good communication.
That's a pretty big athlete and a lot of speed out there in right field. KJ Moon is a two-way player from Statham, Georgia, one of the newer players that was signed just a few weeks ago for the Palm Springs Power. There's a meeting here, meanwhile, with the umpires. Not sure what this conversation is about, but coming up next would be Vincent Iwamura in the lineup. Base umpires going over to the Utah Lab coach, Kyle Bubak, who's the founder. He's also the hitting coach for the team as well, and they're having that conversation down the first base line. And Lucas Zach will have a meeting with his catcher, O'Neill. So just a bit of a pause in the action here, but 3 hits so far from the Power. They start off strong already this evening, and they're looking to at least get another big win. They scored 9 runs last night. A double from Casey Kleinman came last night. He also scored on a pass ball in that game as well, and we're back in action here. The Lab is trying to avoid another 1-2-3 inning. 1 away already. Vincent Iwamura steps in. That pitch is inside, dropped by O'Neill for a second. He picks it up.
Yesterday, Vincent Iwamura was a pinch hitter for Ashton Burnett in the 2-hole, and then ended up being a straight switch. He went 0 for 1 in his solo plate appearance.
That one is grounded and out of play just in front of the on-deck circle with Cole Tolley awaiting on deck here. Minnow State, Thomas Summers is in the hole from Colorado Northwestern Community College. It is a 1-1 count here. Next delivery upstairs, a little bit too high. So far, it looks like Lucas Zach is topping up about high 80s or so. on the pitch speed here, looking to pick that one up, and that one's past the glove of Perez at third base. That looked like an easy one as it goes into the corner in left field. Ritter's chasing after it. Iwamura turns around first. He's at second base, and he got himself a double with one away here in the top of the second. That looked like an easy play for this moment from Perez.
Yeah, Christian Perez, he held out his glove. It looked like a quick line out. We see that a lot of time in baseball, but it whizzes past him, and then he looks at his glove like he can't believe what he just saw. I mean, it was sort of funny, but it must have been frustrating for him. Something you don't see usually, body language like that after you miss a catch.
Well, it looked like it almost like as if he had a hole in his glove for the moment there, and it just went by, and he was just in total shock, like you said.
Yeah, there was a hole in his glove, and it soared through his fingers, too.
Here's the next batter, Cole Tolley, with a runner at second in scoring position. They can answer back that run that they lost in the bottom of the first inning. And Lucas Zakin, meanwhile, is trying to keep Utah Lab at bay early here.
A tying run in scoring position, has a leadoff. Lucas Zack doesn't see him. Shortstop and second baseman are off the bag.
That was the first hit for the Lab here this evening, as that one's in there on a swinging strike. And behind in the count now is Cole Tolley. Still already one away after a fly out from Bodie going to lead off here in the top of the second. Here's the next delivery. Iwamura dancing from second. That one's a high fly ball towards the corner. Going to the warning track, Ritter will make the catch very close to the Sherman's Deli and Bakery sign out there. 2 away now after what seemed like a well-hit ball, but it stayed within the ballpark here.
And Ritter, he kept an eye on it. Something we see a lot from outfielders is they turn their head towards the wall because they think it's going to bounce. He kept his eye on it. He maintained his balance. He kind of had leaned over at an awkward angle and still made the catch. Great play.
Great concentration out in left field by Ritter. And once you get to that track out there, see, things can be a little awkward in terms of the way the wall is and how the dirt is out at the track there. But regardless, 2 away here with a runner still at second in Iwamura. And Thomas Summers will step into the box, the righty hitter. That one's in there. He tried to check his swing, but that one was a little low.
Thomas Summers went 0 for 4 last night, walked once and was tired the next 3 times.
That one gets the inside corner of the strike zone now, makes it a 1-1 count for Thomas Summer from Colorado Northwestern Community College. He is the catcher, not the catcher, excuse me. He's the right fielder tonight as that ball gets away from O'Neill, and Iwamura will stand up at third now with the ball getting away from the catcher in O'Neill here in his debut.
Yeah, pass ball puts the tying run 90 feet away. It's a 2-1 count.
So 2-1 count here for Thomas Summers. It's a 2-1 count. Iwamura now at third after the pass ball. Here's the next delivery from Lucas Zack. That pitch in the dirt. And Summers will pull up on the swing as he was thinking about it just for a second. But now it's a 3-1 count. The question is, does Lucas Zack try to go after Thomas Summers and challenge him in the strike zone here? Sets and delivers from the windup and got a swing and a miss. What seemed like a changeup there now makes it a full count.
That strike in particular went right down the middle. We had the grid here up in the press box, went through the very middle square of the 3x3.
Challenging him certainly indeed. Here's the next pitch, 3-2, got him swinging, and that one's in. One runner left at third. Still remains a 1-0 ball game for the Powers. Lucas Zack gets out of another inning with a trouble situation there with the double by Iwamura, but they settle for a 1-0 ball game. We'll be back for the bottom of the second.
Outdoor living in the Coachella Valley is spectacular, and Tessera is the premier builder of outdoor living spaces in the desert. Nobody does it better than Tessera. From one end of this valley to the other, from Palm Springs to Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, to Indio and La Quinta, For 35 years, we've created the ultimate in outdoor living, landscaping, pools, and patios, so you and your family can enjoy each other. Live well. Live Tessera.
Whether you're building, landscaping, renovating, refreshing, or simply researching, rent the right size tools for your size jobs. In store, online, or in-app at Sunbelt Rentals, where tools rule.
We're back here in the bottom of the second inning. It's a 1-0 ball game. The Power up by single run here after getting out of the situation. Lucas Zach, who gave up a double from a hit from Iwamura that got away from the glove of Christian Perez that went into the corner. That was the only hit of that inning before he struck out Thomas Summers to end the top of the second and keep the score scoreless for the Utah Lab. Leading off here, KJ Moon, Bryant O'Neill, and Cohen Goes will be the batters here in the bottom of the second. And Kenneth Price still up on the mound here after giving up 3 singles back-to-back and allowing 1 run to get by. He'll try to keep the Power at bay here.
And the 3 batters for the Power due up. They're all making their debut with the Power this season: Moon, O'Neill, and Goas. And we were talking about how the umpires were discussing something before. They're now talking with 2 coaches for Utah. It's the head coach and now the third base coach.
It looks like it's the catching coach, Bubba Paulette, for Utah Lab, who's also in the conversation with Kyle Bubak and the umpires here tonight as they're settling in for something here. I'm not exactly sure based on the hand signs. If only if we had audio and we had John Boy, we would know what's happening down there.
Most definitely. As long, there's going to be, at some point this season, the frustrations will boil, and we will see an umpire throw his arm up with the index finger extended and just say, "You're out of here." But we haven't seen that yet. Everything's been civilized.
Seems like a civilized conversation as they go back to their corners. You're listening live here on 1270 AM Fox Sports Palm Springs and the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee. That's Charlie Gonzalez next to me. We're here in the bottom of the second inning as it's a 1-0 ball game, and KJ Moon will step in. Like we said, his family's here tonight. Also made a few plays out there in right field as well. Here's the first pitch delivery just outside and low in the dirt by Kenneth Price.
The story as far as how he got his nickname, his first name is Kent and his middle name is Jacobs, but neither really sounded too cool to him, so he combined them to KJ.
He hits that one opposite field. One hopper off the glove and picked it up. Catch will step on first to get the out. KJ Moon goes down on a grounder. 1 away here in the bottom of the second. So here's Bryant O'Neill, and if you joined us in the preseason show that's up on the YouTube channel, we talked about this guy from San Juan, Puerto Rico. He's currently, or was at New Mexico Highland, 384 batting average, 14 home runs, 39 RBIs in his first full season as a starter. First pitch in the dirt and low. This is one of the guys to look out for this season alongside other familiar faces like KJ Moon, like Christian Perez, like Mark Kirkland. It's a 1-0 count after that first pitch. That one's upstairs and outside on a fastball that did not go the way Kenneth Price wanted it to. And already behind in the count, Bryant O'Neill in perfect position here.
Yeah, on those slower pitches, the wind is definitely going to play a factor here because you can see the jerseys of some of the players rippling in the wind.
That one's fouled off and way out of the park over the grandstand here at the Palm Springs Stadium. Another beautiful and gorgeous night. It is also Kids Saturday. Kids get into the stadium for free if you're 12 years and under and come enjoy the ball game. And like we said, Little League night here at the ballpark as well. 2-1 count here to Bryant O'Neill. Here's the next delivery. Pops it up. He got jammed on it. That's going to the shortstop position. Tolly's calling Iwamura off. He'll make the catch.
That pitch went off the inside of the bat, and he did not intend to make contact with it. It looked like it was a check swing, but he had to take off anyway. And we saw a pitch actually go the Power's way last night. a player didn't. I forget who it was, but a player made contact on the bat. Didn't mean to, but it rolled so slow that he was able to get to first.
And there's a lot of speed on this power team. If you let that ball roll too slow, by the time you look up with a blink of an eye, they're probably already at that base. Here's that first pitch in there on the corner for a strike to Cohen Goes, who is from BYU, and also making his debut for the Power here from Mililani, Hawaii, as that one's also watched and in there for a strike on the inside corner. 2 gone already here in the bottom of the second. It's just a 1-0 ball game for the Power after they were able to score in the bottom of the first. And he got him. 3 pitches in a row looking, and he goes down on a strikeout. And a 1-2-3 inning for Kenneth Price.
Kenneth Price took care of business, retiring the side in order, and now we go to the top of the third.
We'll be back here on Fox Sports 1270 AM for the top of the third inning.
For 20 years, our family's mission has been simple. It all starts at Stuffed, where exceptional service meets bold flavors. Every crust, a masterpiece. Cocktails crafted to perfection in an atmosphere that brings family and friends together. Stuffed pizza, dine-in or takeout. Savor and enjoy at our 2 locations. Quality, service, family legacy, it all starts at Stuffed.
Jessup Auto Plaza has been proudly serving the Coachella Valley since 1938 as your trusted family-owned auto destination. Now, electrify your drive with the Valley's most extensive range of electric vehicles. Drive the Chevrolet Blazer, Equinox, Silverado, the powerful GMC Hummer, Sierra, and the distinctive Cadillac Lyriq. Silent power, bold performance. Electrify your drive. Jessup Auto Plaza. Since 1938, the EV brands you love, the family you trust.
Back here in the top of the third inning, it's still a 1-0 ball game as the Power are still on top by a single run after a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the second by the Power. Kenneth Price getting back in rhythm here. You're listening to us here on 1270 AM Radio Palm Springs and Fox Sports, and also on the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez at my side here inside the Agua Caliente Casinos booth here at Palm Springs Stadium. Mason Ward, the DH, will lead off here in the top of the third inning. Isaac Hurrell will be on deck, and Truman Duria, we're back to the top of the lineup. He's in the hole here as they're trying to get some extra runs and get something started here. Already 1 hit given up after the one by Ewan Murray. Here's our first pitch to Mason Ward as he steps in. That one's in there for a strike.
Right now, Lucas Zach winning the pitching duel over Kenneth Price, but after 1 inning, Kenneth Price had more pitches. Now after 2, it was Lucas Zach. So it's becoming more of a pitching duel.
That one's popped up in the air. KJ Moon's going to have to run after this one. And over the shoulder catch by Rodriguez from the second base position. That was a nifty play and a nice speed by Rodriguez at the second base position to take one down.
And plays like that are common. That because of the arch of that one, he could not keep his eyes on it the whole time. He had to run back or else it would have bounced behind him. And it was a no-look. As soon as it dips and he turns his head away, he makes the catch. Great play.
First pitch upstairs, fastball misses for Isaac Hurrell from College of the Siskiyou. He will be stepping in here and swings and misses at a changeup pitch that was inside. Took a big swing at it. Now he's with a 1-1 count here. And after the nice play by Rodriguez from the second base position going into the outfield, another swing and a miss on a pitch that looked like it went into the dirt initially. Good stop by O'Neill. And now he's behind at a 1-2 count.
Went 1 for 3 yesterday. Got his only hit after Bunkel was relieved by Quintero.
Here's the next delivery. Swing and a miss. And he goes down on a strikeout. That's the second one of the evening, or third one of the evening for Lucas Zach.
On that particular pitch, it was an 86 miles per hour, and that's 2 miles per hour slower than his top speed so far tonight.
A lot of power and chucking and throwing from Lucas Zach up there on the bump. Here's the next delivery on the first one to Truman Doria in his second at-bat here. Struck out looking in his first chance against Lucas Zach. He'll try to rebuttal here as he fouls the first pitch off on the left field side towards the power bullpen. 2 gone already here in the top of the third inning. Still 1-0 ball game. Meanwhile, here's a next delivery. That pitch misses just the outside edge of the strike zone. That's a 1-1 count.
Only one batter has come to the plate with a runner on base, and that was Cole Tolley in the second inning.
That one's outside in the righty batter's box and in the ground as well. He tried to pull the swing from Doria on an outside pitch. We'll try to see if he goes towards an inside changeup here. Here's the next delivery. That one's a heater on the inside, but it misses way too far. Almost got the jersey of Doria, and he's ahead with a 3-1 count. Looking for a second 1-2-3 inning. That one's upstairs, and that's the first walk of the evening. He'll walk over to first base. Truman Doria will be at first base, and Ashton Burnett will come up to bat.
Gotta appreciate, though, our colleagues that add all these cool sound effects, and we get props from the higher ups and even the fans that it's very entertaining but not overdone. So we're doing something right.
Doing a service for the community at Palm Springs Stadium. Don't want to miss out on the fun. Come down and come enjoy a ball game here with us here. The next game would be tomorrow night against the Palm Springs Police Department and Fire Department for the fundraiser. That starts at 5:30. And then the next game after that will be June 1st against the San Diego Bombers. That will be Tuesday. That pitch is in there for a strike. It's a 1-1 count here to Ashton Burnett. And on Tuesdays, if you didn't know, $3 beers for everybody. And on Wednesdays, $5 margaritas. So come join us here at the ballpark at Palm Springs Stadium. Here's the next delivery. Up in the air. Backing up is Walton. He'll stay in place and get the catch. And that will end the inning. They leave another runner first base after they walk by Truman Doria. It's still a 1-0 ball game as we're off to the bottom of the third. We'll be back here on the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel.
For 20 years, our family's mission has been simple. It all starts at Stuffed, where exceptional service meets bold flavors. Every crust, a masterpiece. Cocktails crafted to perfection, and an atmosphere that brings family and friends together. Stuffed pizza, dine-in or takeout. Savor and enjoy at our 2 locations. Quality, service, family legacy, it all starts at Stuffed.
Jessup Auto Plaza has been proudly serving the Coachella Valley since 1938 as your trusted family-owned auto destination. Now, electrify your drive with the Valley's most extensive range of electric vehicles. Drive the Chevrolet Blazer, Equinox, Silverado, the powerful GMC Hummer, Sierra.
Back into the bottom of the third inning, still 1-0 ball game. Power up by a single run after they scored it in the top of the first. If you're joining us here on Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs and Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez next to me here in the booth. Thanks for joining us. Here is Isaac Rodriguez. Will step into the batter's box here for the Power after Kenneth Price got out with a 1-2-3 inning in the previous Isaac Rodriguez from College of the Desert making his power debut as well, as the first pitch was missed, 1-0 the count. Here's the next one inside, and now he's ahead with a 2-0 count.
If you combine the Palm Springs Power roster and the PSCL list of players, you have about 2 or 3 dozen players that go to College of the Desert. It is the school out here, and it's a recruiting hotbed. A lot of coaches from there come out to see these games.
That one's in there for a strike, as it looked like Isaac Rodriguez wanted that pitch that went outside and got the outside corner. And a lot of great players from this organization and a lot of players from the local area. And one of the more famous ones, Taylor Ward for the Angels from Indio, California. Playing with the Angels, having himself a season this year. That one's fouled off on that pitch, the 2-1 count. It's a 2-2 count here after the ball was fouled away towards the Utah Lab dugout.
On MaxPreps.com, his personal statement, he said, most kids at 3 years old sleep with stuffed animals, but I slept with my bat and my ball glove. So he knew what he wanted to do when he was that young.
That's down the first base line, and a diving grab by Hatch. He'll dive to the bag, and they gets him out before diving Rodriguez could get there in time. What a play by the first baseman.
You don't see very many unassisted outs at first by them diving on the bag like they're a base runner, but that's exactly what he did. And in case you miss it, there's a plume of smoke that kind of blocked the view. And so that was really a runner on runner. You don't see 2 people both dive for the same bag. That could be a dangerous head-on collision.
It was almost similar to Chicken Little in that movie where he ran to home in that dusk. Once it cleared up, he was out. That one's down in the ground and out of the way of Iwamura diving. That will go into the outfield. A base hit from Casey Kleinman. He's on board. After striking out on his first attempt, he's got a single here after the ground up by Isaac Rodriguez, first runner for the Power in an inning and a half.
Now Kleinman through yesterday, and so far what he's done today, he's now 2 for 7 on the year. Now here's Jamal Ritter, who is perfect, batted a perfect 1,000 in his 1 plate appearance.
He led off with a single in his first at bat. He's got a runner at first in Kleinman, and he will step in here. Took 1 pitch to take it. He takes the first pitch here. That one's up in the air and grounding out, and the throw over by Price to first base. They take down Jamal Ritter. But it does move over. Casey Kleinman to second. He's in scoring position with 2 gone here in the bottom of the third.
Miles Walton, 1 for 1, had a single that drove in Jamal Ritter for the only run of the game so far. Now he comes to the plate. We'll see if he can do it again here, as Jamal Ritter was on second when he had that RBI.
Walton was the man that, as they only put the single run on the board here for the Power, he steps right back in with 2 gone and away, and Kleinman at second base here. Here's the next delivery. That one's outside corner, strike and painted by Kenneth Price.
And there was a little discrepancy earlier that we were told that there was a pitcher wearing a different number. That is our starter, Lucas Zach. He usually wears number 30, but he's wearing 37, and I only noticed it in the last inning.
Well, good thing you're my eyes and ears here. That one's inside and gets a strike zone. So already behind in the count is Miles Walton. We'll try to at least get another run on the board here for the Power in the bottom of the third inning. Still a young night here as the sun is dipping over the horizon over here at Mount San Jacinto behind us here at the ballpark. Kleinman is still hailing at second. Runners are backing up in the infield. That pitch is in the dirt. On the next delivery, it's a 1-2 count now for Miles Walton.
Yeah, it times perfectly, especially during the summertime, because as soon as it reaches 6:30 or 7 o'clock, the sun dips behind the mountain and the game starts. It's like those old school civilizations that timed their activities and the days by where the sun was.
That one's inside, nearly got a piece of Walton just on the inside jersey. That pitch was inside the batter's box, and it's a 2-2 count. Again, perfect All-Metro second team for a .431 average in his final year as a senior, and CIF North Coast Division I champion, as Kenneth Price is going to reset up on the mound. The wind is blowing from left field towards us here in the booth, so towards home plate, as Kleinman is dancing around at second. Goes for the inside pitch, grounds it, tries to pick it. That goes in the outfield from the glove of Iwamura, and he's not able to glove it as a the relay comes back into Iwamura, bounces it off of his glove again. Crazy series of events within the infield here. But meanwhile, Miles Walton is on base, and Kleiman moves over to third.
And he told me before the game he wants to come out more aggressive. Now keep in mind, yesterday he had a 3-for-5 stat line, and now he's 2-for-2. So he's fulfilling his goal that he set for himself before the game.
Here comes Mark Kirkland to step in with runners at the corners here with Kleiman at third and Miles Walton at first. After the little infield single here, he goes at the first pitch and swings and misses for a strike. So it looks like the scorekeeper is ruling it as a hit for Miles Walton after that ball bounced out the glove of Iwamura and went into the outfield for the base hit. Runners at the corners here. And Kleiman will look at an 0-1 count. He goes after the next pitch, sends it opposite field towards Hirol. He makes the catch. And that will end the inning. So the Power leave 2 men on base at the corners after a couple of hits. But Kirkland flies out to left field, and that ends it. Still 1-0 ball game. So we've got through 3 innings. It still remains a 1-0 ball game after the Power were threatening with runners at the corners in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. And leading off here is Ethan Hatch, the beer batter. Like we talked about earlier, Bodie Goins in the on-deck circle and Vincent Iwamura with the only hit so far for the Lab in the hole. Ethan Hatch will try to avoid a strikeout. He is the beer batter. If he strikes out, beer is discounted for 10 minutes for $4. Here's the delivery by Lucas Zach. That pitch in there for the strike.
Let's give a quick shout out to our roaming MCs. Last night it was Kobe Rushing, and now tonight it's Peyton Linder, and they're having fun out there.
Certainly are. That one's fouled off to the right side, so 1 pitch away from a beer batter here for Ethan Hatch as he'll try to avoid it. The player from Ottawa University of Arizona, and also a handful of players just like Iwamura, his teammate, who's in the 5th spot and waiting in the hole. Here's the 0-2 count, delivery in the dirt, and bounce out of the glove of O'Neal as it goes by, but nobody's at base, so nobody can go anywhere. So 1-2 count. Ethan Hatch still to bat, and Lucas Zach trying to get through another batter here in another half inning.
Yeah, after 3, both Zach and Price equaled at 41 pitches.
That one is grounded to Rodriguez. He throws to Kirkland for the put away. So he avoids the beer batter again, but it's another ground out for Ethan Hatch, and 1 away here in the top of the 4th. If you're just joining us, Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs and also the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez next to me here in the booth, my color. It's a 1-0 ball game, still 1 away, and here's Bodie Goins who steps in. He flew out to left field in his first at-bat. First pitch, line down the line and just out of play beyond the corner 3rd base line, and that one is makes it a 0-1 count.
And the breeze, the wind's kind of changed direction, so you have the misters now blowing right into us in the press box, and it's cooling us off a little bit.
Love to feel that mist in our faces. 0-1 count here for Bodie Goins from Utah State. The next delivery inside looked like it got a piece of him on the right shin as he will take a hike down to first base. So the first hit by pitch handed out by Lucas Zach, and a little bit of frustration after tossing that pitch.
Hit by pitches were a recurring theme last night, and it's now the 4th inning before we get the first one. Expect to see the jitters for both teams kind of get out by the first or second game, regardless of who started and who relieved. And I think that you're going to see that as the season goes on, those HBPs go down regardless of the pitcher.
Here's Vincent Iwamura. He sends it down the right side, just away from the glove of Kirkland. It goes into the outfield. Turning around and going to third base is Bodie Goins. He's there as the ball goes away and towards the photographer's booth down the third base line. And at second base would be Vincent Iwamura. What seems to be yet another double here.
Yeah. It looked like to me he advanced on the throw because out in right field, Moon tried to throw out Bodie Goins. Instead, it goes over the head. We'll see how they're going to rule that, but it looks like that's a single, and then he advanced.
So Iwamura having himself a nice little evening here tonight. A double and what potentially looked like a single, and he advanced to second on the throw back by KJ Moon in right field. Here's Cole Tolley with one away here in the top of the 4th inning. Still 1-0 ball game as O'Neill will go to Lucas Zach and give a little bit of a conversation with 2 runners in scoring position. The Utah Lab have a chance to jump out in front here in the top of the 4th inning.
On that hit by Vincent Iwamura, it was an 82-mile-per-hour curveball, and you saw his patience at the plate. He kind of like he holds his bat, moves it forward, stops his hands, and then swings. He sees the curve. He had a good eye on that.
And he sent it to the opposite field. Here's the first pitch, and it got him in the back as Cole Tolley gets nailed from behind. And that will juice up the bases with one away here on the top of the 4th as Thomas Summers, who struck out in his first at-bat, will come up here.
Loaded bases for the first time this evening, and now it looks like we're going to have a mound visit.
It's Reed Santos who will come up to visit to the mound here with the bases loaded up after 2 hit by pitches and a single, one of those from Vincent Iwamura as he is walking up to the mound here. So first bases loaded jam with one away for Lucas Zach, trying to avoid giving up a run here. The Utah Lab is giving them the run for their money with a 1-0 ball game on our hands. Justin Lee, Charlie Gonzalez here in the booth.
One thing that's one major difference by both teams on defense, Utah, they're playing really shallow because the Powers strategy is to get on base, not necessarily swing for the fences. But if you take a look for the Power outfielders, they're all closer to the warning track.
So they know that Utah Lab is trying to go for a little bit of power here, and it looks like if that ball is hit out to the outfield, they're trying to settle just for making an easy catch rather than trying to get the runner out at home. And over at third base is Goins, Vincent Iwamura at second, and Cole Tolley at first base. 2 hit by pitches and a single. It's a base loaded jam. First pitch inside gets the corner for the strike, and this is Thomas Summers in there. Struck out swinging to end the top of the 2nd inning in his first at-bat from Colorado Northwestern Community College. Has a good chance to get the first runs on the board here for the Utah Lab. That one's a little low, bounces away from O'Neill, stays close by to him. He picks it up and keeps everyone where they are. And then meanwhile, it looked like a check swing from Thomas Summers, but he pulls up on the bat. It's a 1-1 count here with one away, and the base is loaded. He'll settle in. Lucas Zach. Here's the delivery, 1-1 count. That gets the lower part of the strike zone for a strike. The fastball right down the middle. 1-2 count.
Anytime he's dotted the fastball towards the bottom of the zone, it hasn't failed him. It's usually those curveballs and the balls high up either above the zone or in near the top of the zone that have resulted in hits for Utah.
It's a 1-2 count for Lucas Zach here. Bases loaded. Here's the next delivery. Goes after it, bounces it foul. Just down the third base line and out of play towards the Power bullpen down there. They do have some action in the bullpen. The Power do. He's warming up on the bump there. That's James Williams warming up for the Power just in case something happens here for the Power. And Lucas Zach can't get out of this situation. 1-2 count still. Summer steps in, swing and a miss, and he goes down. A crucial out here for Lucas Zach with a strikeout. That's 2 for Thomas Summers as he goes down swinging.
Mason Ward, who's not wearing his usual number 9 tonight, wearing number 16, changed from yesterday. He is coming up, has a chance for a grand slam, just like Thomas Summers before him.
Two-way here, bases loaded up. Bodie Goins at third, Iwamura at second, Cole Tolley at first base. 2 hit by pitches and a single. Here's the first pitch, fastball in there for a strike to Mason Ward, the DH. He flew out into the infield where Rodriguez ran into the outfield from his position to make the catch over shoulder as it was. And a good shot here for Lucas Zach to get out of a cinch here. Swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. And now he's really revved up to try to get out of this bases loaded situation that he's put himself here. Trying to avoid giving up a run here to make it tied. 1-0 is the game. 0-2 count. Here's the delivery. Inside, grounded, popped up in the air. They're going after it. Kirkland gloves it, tries to run after it, and he tags the runner, Mason Ward. They get out of the situation, bases loaded, and keeps it a 1-0 ball game. What a performance from Lucas Zach.
Yeah, that slow bouncer, once again, it didn't go as far, and that is why Kirkland was able to field it himself and get the unassisted out.
We're off to the bottom of the fourth. Stick with us here on the Palm Springs Power YouTube channel.
Hello, Power Baseball fans. At SBMP Attorneys, we believe in the power of community. And that's why we proudly support the Palm Springs Power, our hometown baseball team. After a memorable championship season in 2024, capping off the team's 20th anniversary, we're all very excited about the 2025 Power team. SBMP Attorneys and the Palm Springs Power are 2 teams that are committed to excellence, community, and the spirit of winning. We'll see you all at the ballpark.
Think of the highest quality you can imagine. Now, think higher.
Welcome back live here on Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs and the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez here in the booth at Palm Springs Stadium. It's still a 1-0 ball game as we're off to the bottom of the fourth inning. The Palm Springs Power up by a single run that was scored in the top of the first inning. And another inning or outing for Kenneth Price up on the mound after Lucas Zach got out of a bases loaded situation. Got the ground out that he was looking for with a strikeout just before that to get out of the cinch. And the Power looking to add some breathing room here for Lucas Zach in a tight ball game as we're off here in the bottom of the fourth. It will be Christian Perez, KJ Mood, and Brian O'Neill here leading off. Christian Perez, who grounded into a double play to end the bottom of the first inning. In his first at-bat, will try to get on board here in that leadoff role. And so far, these pitchers somewhat having a duel right now.
Yeah, but we do have a relief pitcher out there. It's number 45, Miles Anderson. So Kenneth Price, he is done after 3. He had 41 pitches, 1 earned run, 5 hits, and 2 strikeouts, and 0 walks.
Well, this is why you're my eyes and ears, Charlie. Thank you for that. Miles Anderson from Utah Valley will step in here in relief, and he will try to keep the Power at bay. The Utah Lab used 3 pitchers last night. Elliot Romo, Cooper Elliott, and Boston Stacey ended it for the Utah Lab. Elliot Romo was the losing pitcher last night for giving up 9 runs to the Palm Springs Power as they're loading up here. So far, just 5 hits for the Palm Springs Power through 3. Here we are in the bottom of the 4th inning as Christian Perez will step into the box, who rounded out into a double play his previous at bat like we talked about. 1 for 3 last night, 2 RBIs, and 1 run scored himself.
Miles Anderson, he primarily played shortstop in high school and was the 89th ranked shortstop in the state of Texas.
Some nifty accolades for the young man from Texas. Here's Christian Perez, that first pitch outside for a ball. It's a 1-0 count to start off here in the bottom of the 4th inning if you're just joining us. That one's outside as well, a pitch that was way outside on a fastball pitch. And Christian Perez is ahead with a 2-0 count. Justin Lee, Charlie Gonzalez here in the booth. Thanks for joining us here on Fox Sports 1270 AM in Palm Springs and Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. Here's a 2-0 delivery. That one swung on and missed by Christian Perez. Perez from Phoenix, Arizona. Just hopped around a few schools as well. New Mexico State to GCU, and then finally Sac State, where he plays right now. That one is outside. It will be a 3-1 count setup for Christian Perez. All Western Athletic Conference second team at New Mexico State. He is of Venezuelan and Mexican descent. Here's a 3-1 delivery from Miles Anderson. Swung on and whiffed by Christian Perez, and now is a full count after he was up by a 2-0 count earlier in this. Try to get on board with no one gone away. He's the leadoff man here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Still a 1-0 ball game. Power still up by a single run. Next pitch, he fouls it off over the grandstand and out of play towards the cafeteria area or the merchandise booth.
Yeah, and each foul ball that a kid returns to the concession stand, they get a free popsicle. So now every kid is eyeing it like a cat, facing like a chew toy that's being dangled by its owner. That's their mindset. Just get me the popsicle.
Yeah, like a laser pointer, and you give it to a cat, basically.
Yeah.
Still a full count after the foul ball. He goes in, jams it, and it goes to the back net, and still remains alive here. This will be the next pitch will be number 8 of the count, with KJ Moon awaiting on deck. Like we talked about, his family is here in attendance tonight.
Yeah, he has parents coming in from Georgia, but he does have some extended family out here in California.
One of the few guys that the Power team roster is rooting for, as that is a swing and a miss on an outside pitch. And Christian Perez, after 8 pitches, goes down swinging on a strikeout. So first strikeout for Miles Anderson comes in the form of taking down Christian Perez after what was a pretty long count.
On the first day the players reported to the stadium, KJ Moon was the first one to greet me, and I had like a 5-10 minute discussion with him, and I remembered I have to talk to some of the other players too. He's just a very personable guy.
Swing and a miss, a big swing by KJ Moon on the first delivery by Anderson. The North Oconee High School graduate, single season and career home run records at that high school, named to the All-State and First-Team All-Regions team as a tight end. So this is a multi-sport athlete that's stepping in the box here. He's with a 1-1 count after that pitch was upstairs and outside. He grounded to Hatch earlier on what was an interesting grounder there to settle for the bottom of the 2nd inning where he led off. Here's the 1-1 count by Anderson. That one's inside towards the face mask of KJ Moon. It is a ball. As a junior, he hit .422 average, a 1.426 OPS, and handed out 71 strikeouts in 57 innings pitched with a 2.42 ERA. So this is a talented player in the box as he fouls another pitch off. It's a 2-2 count for KJ Moon. He's actually an adopted child, has 2 half-sisters. He was adopted from California. He's a nursing major, loves pickleball, hat collecting, and barbecue Pringles, and golf as well. Here's a 2-2 count after the foul ball. That one is inside upstairs, and that's a full count. Another one for the second batter to join up here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The second batter faced for Miles Anderson.
Barbecue Pringles, now you're making me hungry.
Swing and a miss by KJ Moon on the pitch upstairs, and that's another K on swinging and a miss. 2 in a row for the Power on 3-2 counts, let alone.
Yeah, 13 pitches. He's struck out the first 2 batters. Can he strike out the side in order?
Anderson, it seemed like that trouble is being handed to him with the full count coming in that form, but he's been able to get out of it with swing and a misses, 2 in a row. And here's Bryant O'Neill who steps in, flew out to the shortstop in his last at bat, check swing. Upstairs they appeal to the first base umpire. He says, kind of like a double pump fake at first base. He couldn't make up his mind there.
Yeah,
and
that was a weird thing. He originally he held up his right fist and then he held out both his hands. Yeah, it's like he didn't even know, but they're going to rule it ball 1.
As they tell Charlie Brown, stop being wishy-washy. It's a 1-0 count here. That was a weird relay there. Usually when you appeal to the umpire at first base, they are supposed to make that call. Yeah. That one's fouled off on an inside pitch and jammed up by Bryant O'Neill. It's a 1-1 count.
And speaking of Charlie Brown, that was the nickname I put for myself in the group chat, and people actually thought that my last name was Brown. I had to say no, it's just a joke, because that was my baby nickname, and I'm just trying to be funny.
You have way more hair than Charlie Brown, so I think you're okay there.
That is true, but not when I was a baby.
Ball up and fouled away over the grandstand on the first base side and way out of play. Very close to the parking lot or towards the community center close by here at the Palm Springs Stadium. Justin Lee, Charlie Gonzalez here in the booth.
And that one was towering. Even though I stuck my neck out of the press box, I still lost sight of it.
Yeah, that one was way out of here. Hopefully he can send it the other way in front of us towards that 400-foot wall. The longest corners in the MLB is 355 feet. That's at Wrigley Field. Here at the corners, the 350 feet at both corners, left and right field. So very close to those MLB distances. And here's that next delivery way upstairs. Fastball, 2-2 count.
You know, we're definitely seeing Anderson work up the count, but getting strikeouts. And a measure of a pitcher, sometimes if they get themselves in that pickle, how well can they get themselves out? And Miles Anderson has been showing his grit and his strength so far.
Trying to avoid another full count here. It's a 2-2 for Bryant O'Neill with 2 gone already here in the bottom of the 4th. That pitch in there, and he caught him looking on the changeup. So 3 strikeouts in a row for Miles Anderson in relief of Kenneth Price. Gets out of it with a 1-2-3 inning. Still remains a 0-1 ball game with the Power still on top. We're off to the top of the 5th.
Shopping for car insurance is confusing. Holy cow.
Great. Now we have a cow in our kitchen. Why did you say that?
Because I don't know what coverage to choose.
So just say the State Farm jingle. A State Farm agent can go over all your options with you and help choose coverage that meets your needs. Dude, cow, could you move?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Good things come in threes, like our eat, drink, and play combo for just $19.99. Maybe the saying should be good things come in 1999s. Maybe not. The Dave & Buster's Eat, Drink, and Play combo for just $19.99.
We're off to the top of the fifth. We're through 4 already. It's a 1-0 ball game if you're just joining us here at the Palm Springs Stadium in Palm Springs, California. James Williams is in relief here for Lucas Zach, who went through a final line of 4 innings pitched, 2 hits given up, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts as he kept the Utah Lab at bay, and even a bases loaded situation that he got out of in the previous top half of the 4th inning. James Williams was warming up in the bullpen. He's up there on the mound now in relief. His power debut here in Palm Springs. The right-handed pitcher, sophomore, 6'2", 200 pounds from Paris, California. What you got? Leading off here for the Lab in the top of the 5th would be Isaac Hero, Truman Doria, and Ashton Burnett. Gone through 2 cycles of the Lab lineup already. Here's the first delivery from James Williams on the evening. It's a bunt that's lined up to James Williams. He takes it and throws the first to Kirkland to get the out. So a quick one there for James Williams. His first put out as a Palm Springs Power.
Back to the top of the order with Truman Doria. 0 for 2, struck out looking and walked. And that makes it 0 for 6 so far to start the season here against Palm Springs Power.
Walked in his previous at-bat. He will step in here against Williams. Their first pitch got the outside corner on a fastball for a strike. Williams from the College of the Desert. We talked about how many players on this team as well from College of the Desert. Inside pitch on the next delivery, down and low, misses. It's a 1-1 count to Truman Doria, the leadoff hitter, in his 3rd at-bat here in this game. He played for the PSEL. James Williams played for the PSEL. 57 innings pitched, 49 strikeouts, and a 3.47 ERA. That elevated him into this role in this year as a sophomore. Foul ball that was knocked away on the next delivery on the 1-1 count. It's now, 1-2 count off the foul ball for Doria. Here's the next delivery, 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. The first strikeout of the young career of James Williams.
5 pitches, 2 outs. Williams coming out hot. We'll see what he can do with Ashton Burnett, who has gotten a piece of the ball, in both of his plate appearances. Flew out to second base and then flew out to center field.
Burnett steps in. Lucas Zach ended his evening with just 56 pitches thrown. And meanwhile here, only just a total of 5 pitches for Williams. He throws a 6th pitch, just a bit outside and outside the box for Ashton Burnett. Flew out a handful of times already to this evening, like we mentioned. And it's a 1-0 count to start off this 3rd at-bat here. In a 1-0 ball game, here's the next delivery, 1-0 count, way outside, upstairs. O'Neill steps up out of his position to make the catch there.
We were talking earlier about how TrackMan kind of makes everything slow down. It's kind of hard to do things, checking my notes and stuff, but it is very helpful at the same time.
It's great programs for us here. That one is outside as well. So Ashton Burnett on that last delivery is up in the 3-0 count in this at-bat. He hasn't worked up to a 3-0 count yet so far this evening, and this is the first one of the day for him. That pitch is in there for a strike, a fastball right down the middle, offered by Ashton Burnett. And it will be a 3-1 count with 2 gone and away here in the top of the 5th inning.
And KJ Moon is feeling it in right field. He was doing like the batting swing motion right there.
That one's in the strike zone, just below the zone in the box, and it looked like Burnett thought that was a ball. He was ready to go to first, and he will have to turn around and get back in that righty's batter's box. It's a full count.
It definitely looked like it was ball 4. Considering how low it was, you saw the glove of O'Neill, how low it dipped.
3-2 count, swing and a miss on the changeup. James Williams, 2 strikeouts in a row, 1-2-3 inning in this relief effort for James Williams. What a season debut and power debut for James Williams, as it still remains a 1-0 ball game as we're off to the bottom of the 5th.
How do you define adventure? Riding the world's largest rotating tram car? Taking in SoCal's awe-inspiring views? Exploring over 50 miles of pristine wilderness? enjoying casual or fine dining at 8,500 feet, discovering our history, experiencing our scenic trails, getting that perfect souvenir. Whatever your adventure, you'll find it at the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway. Adventure at its peak. Begin your adventure at pstramway.com.
Family setting, we come and we get into conversation, and it's comfortable here is what I guess I'll say. It's comfortable.
The hot cocoa has whipped cream and sprinkles in the whipped cream in the hot cocoa.
Very family oriented. They cater to the kids. They got the coloring books and crayons, and they have kid-sized stuff about almost for everything that you would want. So young and old, everybody can enjoy it.
It's the best.
Made from scratch memories. Elmer's.
Back here in the bottom of the fifth inning, it's still a 1-0 ball game with a power up by just a single run. That came in the top of the first inning, and after what was a relief effort for Miles Anderson for the Utah Lab, he struck out the side with one strikeout looking, 2 strikeouts swinging, and it looks like he's back out there on the bump. Another relief pitcher here for the Utah Lab, it seems like.
I'm having trouble locating. It looks like he's wearing number 28, but he's not on the lineup card.
Looks like 26, I think.
26?
Yeah.
Was that a 26?
Bodie Rudd, seems like here. 26 Bodie Rudd. So Miles Anderson just throws 1 innings pitched. 18 pitches in total, strikes out the side, and looks like a new pitcher here in Bodie Rudd as Cohen Goes leads off here in the bottom of the fifth. Isaac Rodriguez on deck. That first pitch inside, nearly clipped the shirt of Cohen Goes. Here, struck out looking in his first at-bat. This is his second one of the evening. Casey Kleinman, who's having himself a fairly good night, is in the hole here. He'll be the third batter up, and it got a piece on the left shoulder as Cohen Goes eats it all up, and he'll be on the bags.
So now 1 hit by pitch for the Utah pitchers. That's now makes 2 by Lucas Zach, and now 1 by Bodie Rudd in his second pitch of the night.
They threw 2 power hitters got hit by pitches last night. This is the first one of this evening. And there were a lot of errors last night for the Utah Lab as well, 4 in total for their lineup. And in comes Isaac Rodriguez with a runner at first in Cohen Goes. First pitch, he bunts up in the air, takes a little floater, and settling for Goins as he throws to first. And it looks like they got him there at first base with the 2-3 put away. It moves over Cohen Goes. So a little bit of some small ball happening here in the bottom of the fifth, with a 1-0 ball game. So 1 away here in Isaac Rodriguez.
And we see these bunts happen often. Sometimes they tend to go foul, and that's when the third baseman or the first baseman have to make a decision to let it roll or to scoop it up for the putout. But this time they're bouncing up in the air, not too high so the defenders can get underneath it, but just so they hang, getting them enough time to go to first.
So runner at second in Cohen Goes. Here is Casey Kleinman, the leadoff hitter. That one's an inside pitch, nearly clipped the shirt of Kleinman, just like it almost got Cohen Goes, but it eventually did as he got hit by a pitch, and that's why he's at second base after he was moved over on a sacrifice bunt by Isaac Rodriguez here in the bottom of the fifth. Justin Lee, Charlie Gonzalez here for the Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs and Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. It's still 1-0 ball game, 1 away. It's a 2-0 count after the last delivery, which was a ball in the dirt. And Casey Kleinman trying to add another single to his day. He hit a single in the bottom of the third inning, right between the third base and shortstop. Try to get on board one more time. Only 5 hits for the Power so far throughout this game. That one's outside in the dirt on that next delivery, down and low in the lefty batter's box. And now Kleinman is ahead in the count, 3-0.
Yeah, that cutter's just not finding the zone. He's trying to get Casey Kleinman to bite, and he's not biting.
We'll see if he delivers up a fastball down the middle here just to keep it at a 3-1 count. He does, and Kleinman settles for it with the red light on the 3-0 count. It's a 3-1 count, and Cohen Go is in scoring position, awaiting with 1 out here.
That was a risky pitch because what we've seen so far is 3-0. The pitches outside the zone aren't fooling Kleinman. He throws it down the middle, which should have been, he could have knocked that out of the park, but instead he chose not to swing. But either way, he walks here.
He chose not to swing on that last delivery, and so 5 pitches, and now Kleinman's on base with a walk here in the first one for Bodie Rudd in relief of Miles Anderson after striking out the side. They go to another pitcher here, Rudd from Dawson Community College, and now there's runners at first and second with 1 away here, and Jamal Ritter will step in. He's got himself a single, but also a ground out to the pitcher back in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Ritter will try to get on board. 1 away here and try to score another run for the Power. 1-0 ball game. It's a 1-0 count. Here's a delivery. Just outside in the dirt. Good scoop up by Goins. Back behind the plate there. It's a 2-0 count for Jamal Ritter.
And with how quick Miles Anderson was pulled after only 1 inning and striking the side out in order, now here you have Rudd. He's now facing a left-handed pitcher. You would think that Utah would put in a lefty to go up against Jamal Ritter.
Jamal Ritter swings and misses on the changeup there on the outside corner, and he's got the first strike of this count, 2-1 count. The previous 2 at-bats, he's only seen 1 pitch in each, and he's gone after them, and it's ended up in a ground out and a single, and he's settling in for a safe trip here with a 2-1 count. Here's the next delivery by Bodie Rudd as he winds up and throws a pitch on the outside corner. Got it dotted up. 2-2 count.
Jamal Ritter, he swung at the first pitch in his previous 2 at-bats, so this is familiar territory for him. Or unfamiliar territory, excuse me.
Here in the evening and making his power debut this evening in this young season in 2025, the 21st season for the Palm Springs Power. He goes after a pitch low and fouls it off towards the Power dugout. It's out of play at the extra stands that are here at Palm Springs Stadium, and he keeps the at-bat alive with a 2-2 count.
13 pitches so far for Rudd, and this is his 4th batter. And quite the contrary with how we saw Anderson only face 3 batters, but go well beyond 13 pitches in the 4th inning.
The graduate student, 6'2" from Valley Stream, New York, here in a 2-2 count after fouling off the last pitch. Cohen Go is at second, and Isaac Rodriguez went down on a sacrifice bunt, and Casey Kleinman is at first base after a walk. That next pitch was in there. He didn't get the call from the home plate umpire on an off-speed pitch. It's a full count now to Jamal Ritter. Trying to avoid another walk here. Here's the delivery by Bodie Rudd. And that one's in the dirt and down and away. So the bases will be loaded up here in the bottom of the 5th inning as Jamal Ritter waltzes to first base. And here comes Miles Walton.
And we had a few labs that had a chance to hit a grand slam earlier in this game. Now, Walton is the first member of the Power who has a chance to hit a grand slam tonight. Remember we were talking about just a minute ago about how the pitching change to accommodate for Ritter being a left-handed batter did not work out. Well, we'll see what happens.
That one's popped up in the air towards the right field side. Summers will settle under it, making the catch and tagging up from third base. And scoring is Cohen Goes, and moving over just behind him is Casey Kleinman. And now it's a 2-0 ball game with the score and the sacrifice fly by Miles Walton on just 1 pitch.
And that sacrifice fly, we knew that Cohen Goes was going to come home to score, but what's a little riskier is Casey Kleinman advancing, because usually the third base coach who's over there would tell him to stay, because a lot of right fielders have that zip on that arm, they can get it back into the infield, maybe not to tag out the runner going home, but definitely going to third, but it paid off.
Looks like it was deep enough, and able to score him was Cohen Goes, and here we are. It's Mark Kirkland that steps into the box here. He goes after the first pitch and flies it out towards the left field side and out of play towards our bouncy house. So maybe another fan might have gotten another one, Charlie.
It definitely looked like, and I did see the bouncy house kind of shake when the ball landed, or I lost sight of it. Maybe it made someone jump. But yes, that's been like 3 or 4 that's gotten hit over there. So they have a ton of free souvenirs if they know about the reward they get if they take it to the concession stand.
The free popsicle.
Yeah.
Kind of need one right now.
Our colleague, Stephen Buxton, loves those. He refueled us a couple days ago when we were out in the outfield on the warning track setting up the sponsor banners.
Such a nice gesture, and those ice sticks, fun to chew on. Here's the next pitch. Sent it flying to right field. It will stay within the field. Summers settles under it and makes the catch. So a fly out for Mark Kirkland leaves 2 runners at the bags, but the Power are able to score another run and making it a 2-0 ball game on a sacrifice fly by Miles Walton. We're off to the top of the 6th inning, 2-0. Power still on top.
Whether you're building, landscaping, renovating, refreshing, or simply researching, rent the right size tools for your size jobs. In store, online, or in-app at Sunbelt Rentals, where tools rule.
Everyone knows good things come in threes, like our eat, drink, and play combo for just $19.99. Maybe the saying should be good things come in 19.99s. Maybe not. The Dave & Buster's Eat, Drink, and Play combo for just $19.99.
For 20 years, our family's mission has been simple. It all starts at Stuffed, where exceptional service meets bold flavors. Every crust, a masterpiece. Cocktails crafted to perfection in an atmosphere that brings family and friends together. Stuffed pizza, dine-in or takeout. Savor and enjoy at our 2 locations. Quality, service, family legacy, it all starts at Stuffed.
We're through 5 here on the Fox Sports 1270 AM radio and Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez at my side. Power up 2-0 as the first pitch is in there on a swing and a miss by James Williams, who's in his 2nd inning of work here for the Power. After getting a 1-2-3 inning against the Lab here, and it's Ethan Hatch, the beer batter here in the batter circle. He goes after a pitch and fouls it off on an inside pitch there and jams him up, and he's behind in an 0-2 count now after the foul ball. And if he swings and misses or gets the strikeout call, beer will be discounted for the next 10 minutes at $4. You can feel the energy from the fans awaiting that $4 beer. Here's the 0-2 delivery by Williams. And he somehow gets a piece of it, but fouls it off of his shin as he's limping out of the box. Will remain an 0-2 count for Ethan Hatch, who has managed to get out of 2 at-bats with grounders. One of those grounders going to the shortstop and first base, and one to the second baseman. Still remains an 0-2 count here. James Williams in his 2nd inning of work here. It's a 2-0 ball game. Power still up on top after the sacrifice fly scored one in the previous half. That one's upstairs and misses. It's a 1-2 count. Williams trying to rain some beer down in the grandstand here at Palm Springs Stadium.
Yeah, this season at College of the Desert, pitched 78.2 innings. That had an ERA of 3.78, so pretty decent.
Having himself a pretty good night so far. 1-2-3 inning with a pair of strikeouts to go along with it. It's a 1-2 count after the foul ball. This will be pitch number 6 here on a 1-2 count. Here's a delivery. Pops it up in the air and running over Walton from the center field position where KJ Moon is in the gap, and he'll make the catch. So no $4 beers yet. It still has yet to be seen on a flyout by Ethan Hatch. And 1 gone here in the top of the 6th inning.
And James Williams thinking about committing to Hope International University, and there are several players affiliated with Palm Springs Power or the PSCL that go to that school.
Hope International, the former NAIA world champs of baseball. A lot of great players from that program as the first pitch is outside from James Williams to Bodie Goins here, the catcher for the Utah Lab. 1-0 count. Here's the next delivery. That one is grounded. Rodriguez settles, picks it up, throws to first, and gets the out there with Kirkland securing the catch. And 2 gone away, and just like that. So already 2 gone and away.
But Vincent Iwamura looking to change that as he's 2 for 2 tonight, has a double and a single. And so he's looking to go 3 for 3.
Looking to make that so here, but another chance for a 1-2-3 inning for James Williams. Here's the first delivery. Swung on a miss on a pitch that was in the dirt. Still a 2-0 ball game here this evening. Power trying to start off with some 2-game win magic. That one's outside and in the dirt as it's picked up by O'Neal. It's a 1-1 count to Vincent Iwamura. Like you said, 2 hits. One of those was a single that went to the outfield, and he reached to second base on the throw over as they were trying to get the runner in front of him, and that next pitch is outside again. Just a little closer this time to O'Neal. It's a 2-1 count to Vincent Iwamura.
And one thing to note, there is no pitch clock here as part of the CPCL or Palm Springs, so the pitcher's in no hurry at all.
That one's grounded up the middle, a base hit. Iwamura still perfect tonight with another single that rolls into the outfield, and he spoils another 1-2-3 inning chance for James Williams. Have yourself a night, Iwamura.
You know, Iwamura doing most of the heavy lifting on offense, and he's just waiting for his teammates to kind of start delivering. Cole Tolley, 0 for 2, flew out to left and hit by a pitch on his, the first pitch of the at-bat in the 4th inning. He's still looking for his first hit against the Power.
And here is Cole Tolley, was hit by a pitch by James Williams earlier. Lucas Zach scratched that as he steps in here. He was the second player hit by a pitch in that top of the 4th inning. Iwamura at first. The next pitch, check on swing. That one dipped a bit down below the strike zone. And it will be a 2-0 count. It looked like they wanted the appeal from the base umpire on the check swing potentially, but they don't go after it. 2-way here in the top of the 6th inning.
And the infield umpire is just in shallow center field, so it's hard for him to make a call from there.
That's a heater down the middle, and in there for a strike. It's a 2-1 count as Williams offers the fastball delivery there.
And the infield here has some weird hops, some little humps where the grass is uneven as it approaches the dirt, and we saw that result in a hit yesterday for the Labs. Hasn't really played a factor yet in today's game.
That last pitch fouled off. That was going towards the ground there, and somehow Cole Tolley did the Vladimir Guerrero swing and was able to foul it off but not put it in play. So it looks like it will be a 2-2 count here for Cole Tolley with the runner at first base and Iwamura. Here's the 2-2 count delivery by James Williams. That one's outside and upstairs for a full count to Tolley. We saw a few of those rainbow balls in the ground in the infield like you said last night. One of those went over the head of the shortstop for the Lab last night. Makes it for an interesting home field advantage for the Power here. Here's a 3-2 count, full count. Next delivery, swung on a miss, and he goes down on a strikeout. So one hit here in the top of the 6th, but a strikeout for James Williams once again settles the Utah Lab, and they're still reduced to no runs. It's 2-0 as we're off to the bottom of the 6th here on the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel.
Quality first. It's quite a philosophy to live by. But world-class ingredients are the foundation of great meals. And we wouldn't have it any other way. At Kaiser Grill in downtown Palm Springs, we believe you deserve the best. So whether it's dinner for 2 or a celebration with 200 friends. Quality is our promise to you, because quality is king. Quality is Kaiser.
So we're in the middle of the 6th inning. We're about to head to the bottom of the 6th, and we're watching the chipping competition here at the Palm Springs Stadium. And the two contestants literally knocked it way over the head of Rocky, who's holding the flag, and it went into the outfield towards the warning track. And our guy Steven Buxton had to go out and get those balls. You think in Palm Springs they would be good at golf out here? So many golf ranges and golf courses here.
There are, and it certainly sets a tone, especially when you're doing it on a baseball field. It's the same exact turf. You just got to expect it. But one thing that's makes this like a golf course, there are a lot of holes buried by animals on the warning track out there, and so it's not unrealistic for a ball to roll in and say, hole in one!
Here's the leadoff hitter here in the top of the bottom of the 6th inning. Christian Perez is leading off. That first pitch just outside, and Bodie Rudd is still out there up on the mound for the Power. Power, by the way, has some action in the bullpen down there on the left third base line, as the next pitch is outside for Christian Perez here. He's up with a 2-0 count here. Strikeout looking in his previous at-bat and grounded into a double play in the bottom of the 1st inning. Here's the next delivery. Deep center field. Backing up is Doria. Very close somewhat to the warning track, but he makes the catch just before he can get to that dirt. So one away already.
Yeah, and you were talking about how close the field's dimensions are to a Major League Stadium. If these players, and a lot of them are D1, if they want to go pro, they got to get used to hitting home runs in a stadium that is as large as a pro stadium. So it's good practice. And considering there's wood bats in this league too, that's another added detail for a lot of MLB scouts who are looking for these young players to join their team. That's an off-speed pitch here that is Watson, goes below the strike zone. Didn't get the call there for KJ Moon, who struck out swinging in his last at-bat, still looking to get on base here in his power debut. He hits it and grounded. A good pick by Iwamura as he throws over to first, a long one, and he gets the out on KJ Moon. So 2 gone already here in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, B.D. Rudd really worked up the count in his first inning of work. That was the 5th, and he had 17 to finish. Now he has only 5 pitches and retired 2 batters.
Good outings here for the Lab bullpen. And their starting pitcher, who only gave up 1 run so far. Here's the next batter in Bryant O'Neill. That one's missing the strike zone for a 1-0 count. He struck out looking in his last at-bat. And still also trying to get on base in his power debut as well here for Bryant O'Neill. Here's the next delivery, 1-0. That one's in there for a strike on the outside corner. 2 gone already. It's a 2-0 ball game. Power still on top. You're listening here on Fox Sports 1270 AM radio, Palm Springs, and the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez at my side here in the booth. That one's outside in the dirt on the next pitch, and it will be a 2-1 count for Bryant O'Neill.
Yesterday I was in the public address announcer booth, and I got good reviews, because of all the noise in there and the mist. It was hard to hear myself over the speakers, but I'm glad that everyone had positive remarks.
That one's outside and dirt on the next pitch. Another one that was in the same spot. It's a 3-1 count to Bryant O'Neill.
I'm excited to hear you on the PA mic, Justin.
That's tomorrow night. That's the fundraiser game between the Palm Springs Police Department and Fire Department tomorrow night at 5:30. If you want to come out to the ballpark and hear maybe some golden voices.
Under the first responders, we had a few things that go on in Palm Springs recently. Obviously, there was the explosion at the maternity clinic, and last week there were a couple house fires when I was out driving, dropping off schedule cards with our colleague Zach, and so they definitely do the job well out here, and we're going to thank them tomorrow night.
Give them a lot of thanks. They put a lot of effort into this community. After the foul ball that was hit over to the first base side and towards the lab bullpen, it's a 3-2 count. Here's a delivery. That one is outside. So a walk handed out will avoid the 1-2-3 inning, and Brian O'Neill gets on board after the third walk handed out by Bodie Rudd.
Cohen Goes got on base with a HBP on a 1-0 count and came around to score on the sacrifice fly by Miles Walton.
Well, here he is as he steps in. 2-0 game here at Palm Springs Stadium as that first pitch gets in there on the inside corner for a strike on what looked like a fastball pitch. And a runner at first base in Bryant O'Neill after the walk. 2 gone and away here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Here's the next delivery, off-speed pitch, and it got the strike zone. Nice paint by Bodie Rudd.
And considering where that was, how slow it was, a 74-mile-per-hour pitch, and it was on the outside corner from where Cohen Goes is standing. Most times they swing at that and they destroy it, and he did not, just elected not to.
Check over at first base. Brian O'Neill gets back in there to the dirt.
And it's tough to see because they've kicked around the dirt so much you can't see the batter's boxes, but it's almost like he was crowding the plate based on the little bit of the line that I can see that's left on the left-hand side.
Righty batter, righty pitcher here. See if he'll try to get him with an outside pitch on the next delivery on an 0-2 count. Here's a delivery by Rudd. He does go on the outside corner, but it misses, and Goes doesn't go after it. So good eyes from the young man from BYU.
That was the same exact pitch, just over an inch or so, resulting in it being a ball.
Good settle here by Cohen Goes. It's a 1-2 count. Here's the next delivery by Rudd. That one's in there for a strike. Got him looking. And that will end the inning. So just a runner on base, and he's left behind once more. And the Power still up by 2-0 as we're off to the 7th inning here on the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270. We'll be right back.
There's something winning in the Agua. Catch all the action at 360 Sports at Agua Caliente Casinos. Watch your favorite teams on our giant wraparound screens. See live scores on the LED sports ticker. Win big with our bar top games and enjoy great twists on bar food favorites. And with 3 premier casino locations, 360 Sports is the ultimate fan experience. For more information, visit aguacalientecasinos.com.
We're here after 6 innings, 2-0 ball game, Power up on top by 2. And Riley Ricken will be the relief pitcher here for James Williams after pitching 2 innings pitched. 3 strikeouts and 1 hit given up. Another good outing for the Power and his Power debut. He pitched 28 pitches in total, and Riley Ricken will take over here in the top of the 7th for the Palm Springs Power. Ricken, the lefty pitcher from Temecula, California, 6'6", 220 pounds. This is a tall man indeed.
He's playing the wrong sport, some would say.
Some say it might be one that's involved with a net. Or, yeah, 2 nets. Volleyball net or basketball hoop.
Yeah.
Well, he will be in here, and he'll face off against Thomas Summers, Mason Ward in the on-deck circle, and then Isaac Hirol. The Lab are behind by 2 runs here. It's still within striking distance for the so-called Ogden Gunners, as they changed the name on us about a few days ago when the rosters were announced for the Utah Lab. They changed their name because they wanted to get a name that represents grit, precision, and strength. They take their name from a minor league team that used to play in Ogden in the early 20th century that operated from 1926 to 1928. So they're taking that name on to put on themselves instead of using the Lab.
And they've been defunct for 97 years, so I don't think there's going to be any copyright claims.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's a long time. Even the gray Mickey Mouse, or what did they call that Mickey Mouse? The one that you don't really have to get the copyright issues for. Here's the first delivery from Riley Ricken, and swung on and missed here by Thomas Summers. Another great audio bit from our guys here in the booth here at the stadium operations.
Some of those you don't want to play too soon, because then he can respond with a hit, and then they'll be eating crow.
He swings and misses at another pitch. Back-to-back pitches, swing and a miss for Thomas Summers. And it might bite them in the back. Another great audio bit here from our guys in the booth. And hopefully they'll knock on wood on this next pitch. 0-2 count here for Thomas Summers. Struck out both times in his previous 2 at-bats. Here's the next pitch in the dirt. And picked up by O'Neill.
Yeah, Riley Ricken didn't play at all this past year at Cal State San Bernardino. He's staying at the school and has a few teammates that are going to join him there next year, specifically Tyler Nelson, and both of them actually sat next to each other on the first day at the field.
That one is towards the right field side. KJ Moon's running in. He'll take the one-hopper on his glove, and Thomas Summers will settle for a base hit single on a little blooper that went towards that third base line close to the first base where Kirkland is. And like you said, we've been seeing a few of those balls go into the outfield. None of them have landed for a blooper, but that's the first one of the evening.
Another thing to mention about the game, one big difference from last night to tonight, no errors on either side. There were 5 total last night, 4 by Utah, 1 by Palm Springs. Clean game, 0 on each through 6.
We'll see if it stays that way. Here's a runner at first base in Thomas Summers after the blooper single, and Mason Ward, the DH, will step in. Swing and a miss for the first delivery to Mason Ward, who grounded in his last at-bat. He hasn't taken an at-bat since the top of the 4th inning here in his 3rd appearance. It's been a while since he's faced up against a power pitcher. That one's in the dirt on the next pitch. And it will be a 1-1 count for Mason Ward.
This stadium, built in the 1950s, and you really get the feel for its architecture and history when you walk in the tunnels, like behind the VIP area and in the dugout. It definitely gives that old-fashioned vibe.
That looked like it got a piece on that next delivery on the 1-1 count. It got a piece of Mason Ward indeed, and he's sent over to first base on a hit by pitch. That's the 3rd hit by pitch by the Power bullpen here tonight.
It was strange because it looks like the umpire saying, hey, you got hit, and he didn't even know. He was standing there like it was a ball. And then it slowly rolled out of the glove of O'Neill. So that was a very strange occurrence.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he knew if he felt it or not. Isaac Hirol will step into the box with runners at first and second. He goes after the first pitch and fouls it out of the park just behind us here in the booth. And the tying runs at first base in Mason Ward after the hit by pitch, and Thomas Summers at second base. The go-ahead runs is at the plate here in the top of the 7th. 2-0 ball game if you're just joining us here on Fox Sports 1270 AM Palm Springs and the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. Showing bunt, he goes after it, rolls it down the first base line. Kirkland picks it up, he'll scoop it, tag out the runner as he goes flying out of the way on that first base line. They get the out there, but all the runners advance at the scoring position at second and third.
We've had a lot of unusual unassisted outs at first today. You know, got 2 with Kirkland tagging out the runner as he's on his way. And then we have the first baseman for Utah, Ethan Hatch, just diving at the plate on the exact opposite side to tag out another base runner. I haven't seen this many 3U's in my scorebook before.
Kirkland, I mean, I would not want to be in the way of Kirkland, man. That's 6'5", 230 pounds. That is a football player and a half, if you ask me.
That is 100% true.
Here's the first pitch to Truman Doria, who's the leadoff hitter. Has found his way on base one time on a walk, but the other times he struck out.
And just like our colleague Steven, who was a 2-sport athlete in high school, he was actually the one throwing pitches on the mound to test out the TrackMan system. And he was telling us about how he was a guard in high school.
You never know. The way they look. That one's sent up towards the gap. It looks like it will fall in. That will get into the infield between left and center. They're having trouble with it at the warning track. 2 runners will score for the Lab, and they tie it up here in the top of the 7th inning. Thomas Summers, Mason Ward will score. It's a 2 RBI double for Truman Doria as the Utah Lab ties it up here.
And that was poor communication because you saw Walton run over and field it, but it slips beneath his glove. And Ritter, who had already slowed down, has to speed up and go get it again. That probably allowed the second run to come. Had Ritter taken off full speed and Walton let him get into his territory, it may be a 2-1 ball game, but now it's tied at 2 apiece. And now the go-ahead run's in scoring position.
So 2 hits in this half inning already, and 1 hit by a pitch has ended up in a tie game here. That one's popped up in the air with 1 away towards Walton, who runs over in the gap, catches it, tagging up from second is Doria. He'll go to third. Did they get him on the throw? Yes, they did! What a toss over from Walton from the outfield to get the runner and keep it a 2-2 ball game.
That was incredible. That was like instant. And look, before we go to break, two Utah coaches are arguing with the umpire. Look, they're really pleading their case, and the one umpire is alone with the two Utah coaches. We'll see if what happens here, but they're arguing the call. It's like, you can't do that. It was a tie. His foot hit the bag before the glove touched his leg, and now they're going to talk about it. We should stay here before they go to break. We'll see exactly what they ruled is.
So here's the situation here. The fly out from Walton out in center field. He ran over to the corner outfield in right center field. Make the catch, threw it down to the third base side with Perez making the tag on the runner in Truman Doria after hitting a 2 RBI double. Oh, they changed the call. The home plate umpire, after a conversation with the base umpire, says he's safe over at third base, and livid is Coach Casey Dill from the dugout. Oh my goodness. Erasing a fantastic play from Walton out in center field. It will remain a 2-2 ball game with 2 outs here. What could have been a double play by Walton. And a series of events that have flipped on its side here at Palm Springs Stadium.
And our boss, Andrew Starkey, just ran in front of the press box. He's talking to our guys over the public address announcer and the scorekeeper. And he's saying something to them. I can't make out what he's saying, but he just darted across. Casey Dill still pleading his case. He's in the umpire's face. He's probably close to getting ejected. This is not good. And they're still talking about this.
This is the first crazy moment in this young Palm Springs Power season that we have seen, and Casey Dill is going back to his dugout after not being thrown out. It looks like he's going to stay in the game here with the conversation from the base umpire and the home plate umpire. Walton made a great catch out in center field on an easy pop fly, and then he threw it over to third base. They got him there supposedly, but then they changed the call, and now the Utah Lab coach is arguing with the umpire again. What is happening?
Yes, we don't know what's happening because he's staying at third, but none of his teammates are like supporting him or like clapping. And then on the other side, you see the Power. None of them are going out to resume their defensive positions.
Both sides are starting to crawl out of their dugouts right now. Casey Dill's back out there arguing in the face of the base umpire here. It looks like I don't know if they changed the call again, but I've never seen this kind of thing in radio or baseball ever. Few umpires changing a call multiple times, if that is the case here.
And another thing that I haven't seen so much is the coaches from both sides giving the umpires this much like lip and them staying in the game. Like, how many Major League Baseball umpires have we seen with such a short fuse, and then even like the announcers start to take sides with the players.
Oh, they just tossed him out. Casey Dill has been tossed out as the base umpire heads back to second. Casey Dill getting all of his case here and throwing it out on the field after a wacky call here at Palm Springs Stadium. What a crazy event. Now he's turning to the home plate umpire. Casey Dill is going after the home plate umpire here as he walks back to his position. Casey Dill is still livid.
He's already been ejected, so there's nothing that other umpire can do. He's just giving him words, and now the Palm Springs Power will resume their positions.
So the situation now will be Doria will be at third base after running over from a tag up from Walton out in center field, who made the catch on a pop fly from Ashton Burnett. And the next batter would be Ethan Hatch in this situation. And looks like the power players are also talking to the base umpire. And now the base umpire is going back to home plate. What is going on right now?
You know what would be interesting? If they ever tune into this broadcast to take a look, the issue is our solo shot is not quite close enough for them to make a decision. And so that's kind of the dilemma here. It's like they're trying to not forget what their eyes saw, because that's the only reliable thing they can go off of.
This is the weirdest turn of events here at Palm Springs Stadium. I think, in my opinion, this is the weirdest moment. I don't know about you, Charlie, but I've never seen anything like that before.
I've seen some weird times calling baseball in 4 years. I've seen ejections for things I didn't even see or hear because they're under the breath. But, yeah, that was the most eventful thing I've seen so far this summer, I could say.
And we're just in game 2 of this young season. They throw to second in Ricken, who's still up there on the mound. They throw to second. They think he left early. They're giving the appeal to the home plate umpire as he's stepping on it. That's Rodriguez at second base. He's stamping his foot down on the bag, and then he throws it back to Ricken. And now Ricken is looking at the umpires, and now he's looking around, and they don't give him the appeal. So they're trying to get out of the inning here. And meanwhile, Ricken is, well, now he's got to just get out of this inning here. And now he throws back to second again. They call him safe. The home plate umpire calls him safe. And this crazy pattern or this weird moment that is happening here is still elongated here. I can't believe what I'm seeing here, folks. So meanwhile, it's a 2-2 ball game here in the top of the 7th. Lab has tied it up. Here's the first pitch, grounded up in the air. Goiás picks it up, throws to first. That's the end of the inning as they leave a runner at third after the wackiest turn call I've ever seen, with Coach Casey Dill getting tossed out. And now we're off to the 7th inning stretch with a tie ball game. What in the world?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that when we come back.
So after the 7th inning stretch, it's a tie ball game here if you're just joining us here in the bottom of the 7th after what was one of the weirdest wackiest moments we've ever seen here on a radio broadcast for Power Baseball. They overturned a very close call from a throwover by Walton in the outfield on a put-away to try to get Doria advancing from a tag-up. Here's the first pitch from Bodie Rudd, who's here in his third inning of work, as he throws a pitch in there and misses for a ball to the current batter, Isaac Rodriguez, at the bottom of the lineup. Here's a nice delivery, 1-0. He goes after it, sends it opposite field, and turning around and had a bad step, and it goes over his head. Summers, as that rolls towards the track, picking it up is Doria, rounding around, and the throw over to third. Can they get him? That's a nice dotted throw. They call him safe under the tag, and in there is Isaac Rodriguez.
And now the left fielder for Utah, Hero, is now pleading his case. He's like, what? Are you kidding me? And now he's running back. Now he's upset.
Now you wonder if that's a makeup call in all sense when it comes to these situations in baseball. When you see a play like that is close, that happens after another controversial call, you never know if it might be a makeup call or whatnot. But for the meantime, it's a great run there by Isaac Rodriguez as he gets to third.
And because of Casey Dill's ejection, we now have the pitching coach playing third base coach and a player over playing first base coach, and I was unable to see his number from here.
This is Casey Kleinman, who's had himself a great night so far, a walk and a single so far this evening. He's got a runner at third base in Isaac Rodriguez, who got in there safely after the throw over by Summers out in the outfield. The next pitch is in the dirt and makes it a 2-0 count.
Yeah, on that hit that resulted in a triple, it wasn't meant to be because of where it landed, but trying to run up and catch it was Summers, and it goes behind him, and that allows him to get the extra base.
That pitch is down the middle in the strike zone, and he watched it for strike one of this count. 2-1 is the count here to Casey Kleinman, as that last ball, it pretty much got out of the way of Summers. He took a bad step to the inside. Usually when you have an outfielder, they usually step to the outside. He sends one, a line driver over the head of the left fielder, Hero. This will score one as it goes to the wall. And coming in is Rodriguez, turning around from second. He's going to third, Kleinman. This will be back-to-back triples. And now the Power are in front, 3-2 with back-to-back triples. One from Isaac Rodriguez and now one from Casey Kleinman.
Back-to-back triples, that's not a phrase you hear too often in baseball, and that certainly makes up for the frustration the Power felt after Casey Dill's ejection and allowing that runner to be ruled safe after he was initially called out. But here's another thing we want to talk about. Earlier in the broadcast, we were talking about how the outfielders for Utah play so far in. That was the detriment on that play. Harrell was too close to the infield. He had to run back, and that is what allowed that play to happen. Bad decision by Utah.
Might pull out the water spray and say, bat, for staying in too close there. But that was a great line drive there by Casey Kleinman. Here's Jamal Ritter, who steps in, has himself a single and a walk tonight. And alongside a ground out from the bottom third inning earlier, that first pitch in the dirt for a 1-0 count here for Jamal Ritter. So on a wacky night, it's Little League Baseball night, and what it seems like has been a Little League game from the umpire so far. Here's the next delivery, swung on and missed by Ritter. It's a 1-1 count. It's been a very lopsided game, if you want to say that, but it also still a very close game at 3-2.
Yeah, it was lopsided until the 2 runs scored by Utah in the 7th, and now Palm Springs with a quick response.
And that gets by the infield between the first and second baseman, and easily scoring is Casey Kleinman. That's an RBI for Jamal Ritter on a grounder single base hit.
He's now 2 for 4 tonight, and we were talking about it in the break, who the player of the game is going to be. Yesterday was difficult. You know, but if you look at the pitching, then it was definitely Bunkle. But now it's going to be a close race between Walton and Ritter as we come down this stretch. We'll see what Walton does in this at-bat.
And a runner here at first base in Jamal Ritter, who just hit that RBI single, got by the first baseman and second baseman as they couldn't make a decision on that little hard grounder. And Ritter's going to second as that ball is fouled off, so he'll have to go back to first base. So 3 hits in a row already. No people away here in the top of the, or bottom of the 7th inning, excuse me. And the Power back on top 4-2.
Talk about resilience. You saw it from the Power. After their lead disappeared, they got it back. And they're not done yet.
Another check over to first base as Ritter slides back in. He was close by it over there. It's a 0-1 count still. No batters away for the Power here in the bottom of the 7th inning after the Lab went up and tied the game in the previous half inning with 2 runs of their own, but the Power have answered with 3 runs here. You're listening here on Fox Sports 1270 AM. That next pitch looks like it got a piece on the backside of Walton as it was floating around, and Ritter still stole second anyway, so he stands up and says, what in the world? And meanwhile, Walton will move over to first base on the hit by pitch, and there's runners at first and second, no runners away.
Now we're going to have a mound visit for Utah. Now Miles Walton, he's been productive in some form or fashion every time he's come to the plate today. He has 2 hits and then a sacrifice fly to bring home Cohen Goas, and now he's hit by pitch and he's on base. And now Labs, you know, that surge in the top of the 7th they had, which resulted in some controversy and an ejection, now they're right back in they're back in trouble.
They are indeed, as Bodie Rudd is having some issues here trying to keep the Power at bay here in Game 2 of this short weekend series against the Utah Lab, or also known as the Ogden Runners. Hits given up here for Bodie Rudd. He's given up a total of 4 runs already here tonight. And to top it off with a hit by pitch, here's Mark Kirkland, who steps in with runners at first and second. Ritter at second base and Walton at first. Ooh, he's got him off the step there on a pickoff attempt. He gets back in there safely as he took a step to his right side. And Jamal Ritter, he goes back to first base somehow, or second base, and he's safe.
The release on Rudd is why he was safe. That throw was on time, but it curved over to the outside, resulting in the shortstop, Tolley, having to reach his glove out and not being able to tag him in time.
No runners away here for the Power as Kirkland steps in, and stealing his Ritter, he will easily get in off the throw by Goins over to third base, bounces out of the glove, and right behind him follows Miles Walton. Now 2 runners are in scoring position here.
Looked like that was ball 1. My eyes darted to the base runners as soon as the pitch left the pitcher's hand.
No runners away here on a 1-0 count to Mark Kirkland, who's still trying to get on base, he already has a single tonight, but flew out in his last at-bat. Here's the next pitch. Inside pitch, low and inside on a fastball. He's ahead with a 2-0 count here. The Power have put themselves a little bit farther in front of the Utah Lab here in the bottom of the 7th inning with a 4-2 ball game. Kirkland, next pitch, 2-0, goes the other way and sends it towards the gap. It will take a one-hopper into the glove of Hero. This will score both Ritter and Walton, and they will get in there with a 2 RBI single for Mark Kirkland, and it's a 6-2 ball game for the Power here.
The best phrase I can think of is when Casey Dill got ejected, the whole team was like, and we took that personally. Still no outs. 5 batters, 4 runs, 4 hits. It's 5-2. Power.
A big inning here for the Power after responding from a controversial call that came in the top of the 7th inning earlier, if you missed it. That one's in there for a strike with a fastball right down the middle to Christian Perez. No runners away here for the Power as Mark Kirkland stands on first base after hitting a 2 RBI single. It has been all Power here against Bodie Rudd. There's the next pitch, grounds it, takes a one-hopper off the mound and sliding down on the ground. He just has to settle for one, and it misses out of the barehanded reach of Burnett, and it goes out of the way. That will likely be an error on that play there by Tolley, who had a chance there. He slipped on a banana peel at the shortstop position, and now all the runners are safe with nobody still away.
Yeah, yesterday we saw someone on a dead ball slip and fall, but there it was the shortstop, Tolley, who slipped and fell, and that could be E6 because still had time to throw him out at second, but the throw was off, and so that will be E6.
Took a slip and a fall there, and a bad throw to the second baseman trying to cover that bag as the first pitch is in the dirt here for KJ Moon, who is still looking for his first reach on base as a power hitter. He's got a good chance to add some more runs after the Power have already scored 5 here with runners at first and second. No outs is the big storyline here in the bottom of the 7th. Well, that one's way outside. He had to pull the bat down, and that was a wild pitch. That was nowhere near the strike zone, and it goes to the backstop, and everybody moves over on the pass ball there.
Yeah, it's 6-2 now, and you have 2 base runners move up on a wild pitch just following the double steal by Ritter and Walton that allowed those 2 runs to score on the RBI single by Kirkland. Now you have Kirkland at third and Perez at second. And it's a 1-0 count for KJ Moon, who's still looking for his first hit as a member of the Palm Springs Power.
KJ Moon steps in with a 1-0 count. He sends it flying up towards the outfield. It's reaching over the wall and dancing around and looking for it is Summers. He's trying to find it. He bounces out of his glove. It's on the ground. Kirkland will score, and everybody moves over as KJ Moon gets there at second base on what should have been an easy put out, but it looked like Summers lost it in the bright lights here at Palm Springs Stadium, and it's 7-2 is the score here for the Power. A 6-run inning so far with no outs.
E6 and E9, this is not what Utah had envisioned after that top 7th, and the pain just keeps getting poured on. Not something that hasn't happened yet this year is bleeding over into the second round of the batting order, double-digit appearances in 1/2 inning. We haven't seen that yet. The Power had 9 yesterday.
They have certainly gone to Bodie Rudd here tonight. In this game, a well-hit ball to the right field and a bad read by Summers, and runners at second and third once again as Christian Perez is at third and KJ Moon is at second base. That one's flown out to the right side. Summers in right field again is trying to find it. Can he make the play? Yes, he does. Gets a put out, tagging up, and coming in to score is Christian Perez. Then tagging up from second base, and that ball is nowhere near and bounces out of the glove of the covering Iwamura from the throw by Goins at the home plate position, who got the relay from the outfield. And now it's an 8-2 ball game. 7 runs total scored here for the Power. They are pouring it on here against the Utah Lab.
I don't know how would you rule that, because the throw was on time and accurate to third base, but it fell out of his glove anyway. Would you say that's an advance on throw or stolen base, or do you think that's an error? That's a very difficult call to make.
I would say that's very close to an error in some regards, just the way that he ran over, because he had a chance to get him out.
Yeah.
But in terms of this, it would be a sacrifice fly as the time being is out. The first pitch is swung on and hit over the air, and another bad read it seemed like, but he recovers in Doria in center field, and tagging up and scoring is KJ Moon for the 8th run of the bottom 7th inning, and the Power up 9-2. And ever since Coach Casey Dill got ejected after arguing a controversial call with the umpires, they have poured it on here against the Utah Lab.
7 runs and 9 at-bats. We're now going back to where we started in this inning with Isaac Rodriguez. He led off with a triple. I don't know if he thought he would be back up to the plate in this inning or this game.
And I don't know if anybody imagined a crazy turnabout here in this half inning as that first pitch is fouled away by Cohen Goes here. Isaac Rodriguez, who's here up in the bat as he fouled out the first pitch as an off-speed pitch that's in there. Makes an 0-2 count here to Isaac Rodriguez, who led off this inning. They've gone through the full lineup here with 2 outs here against Bodie Rudd. Here's the next delivery. That one's in the dirt. And a 1-2 count with 2 gone and away here. The Power are having themselves an inning here pair of triples to lead off this inning, two singles, a hit by a pitch, a few errors here and there, and sprinkle on a few sacrifice flies, and the Power up 9-2, and they catch Isaac Rodriguez looking on a strikeout that ends the inning, but the Power unload it on the Utah Lab in this half inning. They're up 9-2. We're here in the top of the 8th inning here on the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270 AM. My name is Justin Lee alongside Charlie Gonzalez, my color commentator tonight. 9-2 is the score after the Power scored 7 runs in that last half inning, and they are up by 7.
I barely had a chance to breathe. I was so busy writing in my score sheet and keeping track of pitch counts that I barely had time to do anything else.
There's been so many things happening here tonight that you may have missed, and we'll try to break it down as best as possible. But meanwhile, there's a new pitcher up on the mound for the Power. It's Richie Amaviska, who's a returner here for the Power as he delivers the first pitch on a check swing, but it's inside, and that's in there for a ball as they appeal to the first base umpire there. And Bodie Goins is the man in the box right now.
Yeah, Richie Amaviska from Indio, California, a graduate student at New Mexico Highlands University.
He delivers the next pitch up inside towards the face mask of Goins here, and he fouls it off for a 1-1 count. And he has reached on a hit by pitch, and other than that, just a fly out and a ground out in his last few at bats. That one's in there, gets a low part of the strike zone from Amaviska on a heater fastball. The Power trying to settle things here after getting way ahead in the last half inning by 7 runs in the 9-2 ball game here in Palm Springs Stadium here in Game 2 of this series. That pitch on the outside corner misses on the next delivery on the 1-2 count. Makes it 2-2 here for Bowden Goins.
Bowden Goins today, a fly out, hit by pitch, and a ground out.
That one is grounded and in play. The third baseman, Perez, picks it up over to first, makes the play on a one knee by Kirkland. Great put out on the 5-3 play there for Christian Perez.
And here comes Vincent Iwamura, who's a 3 for 3, but unfortunately the rest of the team doesn't have much to show for it. Now, we were thinking that 3-for-3 was sort of a good omen after the top of the 7th when they tied the game, then the bottom of the 7th happened.
Well, here he is trying to get another hit here in the top of the 8th inning. He fouls off the first pitch by Amaviska off the netting here on the first base side, just in front of our VIP section here at Palm Springs Stadium. This storied stadium here in Palm Springs Stadium used to host the Anaheim Angels once upon a time when Gene Autry was a resident here in Palm Springs. Off-speed pitch upstairs by Amaviska, misses just a little bit upstairs.
And speaking of Gene Autry, there is a street just east of here named the Gene Autry Way. And so, yeah, his legacy out here in Palm Springs will never be forgotten.
Here's the next delivery on a 1-1 count. Right up to the pitcher. He scoops it, drops it, picks it up on the relay, throws a Kirkland, and he gets the put out. Good save there by Amaviska. Well, 1-3 put out. Makes it 2 gone away here in the top of the 8th.
Okay, I got it.
2 gone and away here, and here's Cole Tolley, who steps up here in the box, struck out swinging his last at bat. He fouls off the first pitch by Amaviska to the back of the inning.
When I said I got it, yeah, we got a text from somebody, and we're just making a decision.
Here's the 0-1 count after the foul ball by Cole Tolley. Only time he's been able to reach on base was a hit by pitch. He fouls off the next one. He was a little under that swing, and it's an 0-2 count here. 9-2 still is the score, 2 away here in the top of the 8th inning for the Utah Labs, trying to answer back, giving up 7 runs here. The Power able to respond, giving up 2, and a strikeout looking for Cole Tolley. And Richie Amaviska gets out with a 1-2-3 inning. And it's a 9-2 ball game remains as the Power is still up on top as we're off to the bottom of the 8th. Off here after 7 gone and a half inning. We're off here in the bottom of the 8th inning. If you're just joining us, a 9-2 ball game. Power were able to swing away and score 7 runs in the what looked like the bottom of the 7th inning for the Power, and that has elected a new pitcher here for the Utah Lab as Ethan Hatch, who is the beer batter tonight. He's up on the mound here, and the defensive position that's been moved is Anu McCabe at first base, number 44. First pitch in there for a strike here to back to the top of the lineup, Casey Kleinman.
The big question that surrounds this is like really the CPCL rules on ejections, if there's a suspension or a fine involved.
Now a grounder back up to Hatch. He throws over to first to McCabe, the newly defensive sub, and that settles down Kleinman for the put away on a 1-3 put out. And if you're just joining us here on the Fox Sports 1270 AM radio and Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel, you've missed a ton of crazy moments here tonight. Coach Casey Dill rejected after a controversial call earlier tonight, but the Power responded with 7 runs after giving up the lead and allowing the Lab to tie it. And the first pitch here to Jamal Ritter, who's got himself an RBI from his previous at-bat on a single. And it takes the first pitch for a strike. Here's the next delivery. Grounds it up in the air, high up, safely for Hatch. That's a second put-out away that has gone to Hatch. So 2-1-3 put-outs here for Ethan Hatch.
And usually when it's this late in the game and a visiting team is down by this many, you will see a position player go out on the mound. We saw that earlier this year in the Dodgers when Kike Hernandez came in on the 16-0 shutout by the Cubs. But the one exception here is Hatch is actually listed as a two-way player, so he can do both. And now Coach Bubak has him out there to close.
So he'll settle in here and try to keep the Power at bay. He's got 2 gone away already on ground outs. Right back to him, I should mention as well. And here's Miles Walton, who comes up here. Hit by a pitch in his previous at-bat. That was just back in the last half inning in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the next delivery, high up, change up, and off speed. He gets in there for a strike. A little painted dot there by Ethan Hatch.
And B.D. Rudd had those exact same changeups earlier in the 7th inning. The problem was they were just covered up by the hits and the errors that the infield just kept on committing.
There was a flurry of errors, one by the shortstop, one by the outfield and right field, as Summers had trouble with the lights earlier, and that allowed a handful of runs to come score for the Power. That one's outside on the next pitch. That was another off-speed pitch. It's a 3-1 count here for Miles Walton.
Yeah, the placement for the changeup, each right-handed pitcher for Utah tonight has been able to locate it when they face right-handed batters.
Here's a 3-1 delivery, grounded down towards Tolley. He picks it up, throws it to first base off the dirt, and it gets away from McCabe as it goes towards the photography booth there on the first base side, and in there for the safe at first base is Miles Walton.
So that will be a throwing error by Tolley at short. So now that's the 3rd error of the night, and all of them are by Utah, and that's his 2nd of the night.
Getting close to their same totals from last night as well on the errors here this evening. And Mark Kirkland will step in after getting a 2 RBI single in the last at bat. He goes after the first pitch, grounds it down the line. McCabe picks it up and makes a great play as Kirkland backs up and reverses, and they throw to first, and that will end the inning as they leave a runner in Miles Walton. But it still remains a 9-2 ball game as the Power are still up, and we're off to the final inning here on Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel. So we're here in the what should be the final half inning for the Power here, as they have gotten up 7 runs in the bottom of the 7th earlier, and they're up 9-2 here in the Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel and Fox Sports 1270 AM radio. My name is Justin Lee. Charlie Gonzalez next to me here in the booth here. And the Palm Springs Power has got Narun Haro up on the mound to close it off here for the Power. One of the few returners coming back from last year, 2020, or sorry, not 2024, from 2023 left-handed pitcher. We'll try to close it out for the Power.
Now in Haro, solid D1 player, the Kansas Jayhawk.
Started his career at Palm Springs High School just down the way here from La Quinta, California. His father played pro ball in Mexico. He actually has a weird game day superstition. He eats the same exact breakfast for every single game day that he plays. So, likes jazz. Vladimir Guerrero is his favorite player. And he's here to try to close it out against the Utah Lab. Thomas Summers will step into the box here.
We actually have a pinch hitter out there. It's number 12.
Ooh.
That will be Cooper Elliott.
That first pitch is thrown by Naun Haro. Looks like it missed.
Well, at least I don't know if that's actually Cooper Elliott out there, but they're wearing Cooper Elliott's number. I don't think that's Cooper. Either way, a pinch hitter, number 12, is out there right now to lead off in the 9th for Utah.
Which would be interesting because Cooper Elliott was a pitcher from last night.
Yeah.
As he is listed as a pitcher here, so that there's no way that can be Cooper Elliott. So we're getting a few numbers mixed up here.
It looks like it could be the starting catcher from last night, Jalen Thomas. That does look like Jalen Thomas.
We'll go with Jalen Thomas for now here. 0-2 count here to Jalen Thomas. Goes after that next pitch on an 0-2 count, grounds it. Picking it up is Rodriguez. He dropped it on the ground. It looked like he got jammed up on his fingers, and that will bring the leadoff hitter safe at first base.
E4 by Rodriguez. Something must have happened. Maybe he winced in pain, but he had the ball in his hand, and then he just dropped it. So Jalen Thomas reaches on an error, and now here's Mason Ward.
Looks like that will be the first error of the evening. Here's the next pitch in there for a strike. This is the first one to Mason Ward.
Correction, it's actually Anu McCabe pinch hitting for Mason Ward.
Yes. Check over at first base with Jalen Thomas staying close by. No runners out here for the Utah Lab here in the top of the 9th inning. 9-2 is the score. Palm Springs Power up here. Now Noro trying to finish this game off. Next pitch, swing and a miss by McCabe, who just came in as the defensive first baseman for Ethan Hatch, who was the replacement pitcher of the previous half inning. So McCabe took his spot. He's behind here in a 0-2 count.
And new McCabe came in to pinch hit for Mason Ward yesterday as well. That was in the 5-hole.
That one's in there for a strike as he catches him looking, and a new McCabe goes down on a looking strikeout.
So Anu's will be 1 for 3 in these 2 games against the Palm Springs Power.
He played last night, 1 for 4. Got himself a double back in the 6th inning. They check over at first base with Jalen Thomas again, who's still over there at first base. And that one swung on a miss on a heater upstairs here for Isaac Curol. 1 away for the Utah Lab, down to their final 2 outs in this 2-game series. Palm Springs Power got the 9-3 victory last night. Close to that same score with 9 runs of themselves, as that next pitch is upstairs to make it a 1-1 count to Isaac Curol.
Now Haro started playing baseball at the age of 4, and his dad played pro baseball in Mexico.
Some international experience for a talented young pitcher. That one is what looked like a off-speed changeup. He tried to paint up on the outside corner. He didn't get the call there It's a 2-1 count here to Isakuro. They check over to first base again. Thomas close by. They're keeping an eye on Thomas. Has a good handful of speed there at first base. He looks back over to Hirol and throws the 2-1 pitch, and it's just misses the strike zone again. It's a 3-1 count. And Onharo is going to have to work his way back up here.
I'm just curious as to what Haro's first breakfast for every game day is, because he doesn't say. I hope it's cold cereal. No one ever can go wrong with a bowl of Cheerios or like honey bunches of oats.
I would argue and say a bagel.
A bagel
would be another good one.
Bagels are toasty, but something about having something sweet and cold in the morning, it just sets me at ease.
You might have a point there. Here's a full count to Isakuro. Here's our next delivery. That one swung on and missed and into the glove of O'Neal, and that takes down Isakuro on a swing. And that's the second strikeout in a row. And now the Utah Lab is down to their final out. And the leadoff hitter, Truman Doria, will step back in. Still runner at first base in Thomas. Down to their final out here. Doria was a man who tied up the game earlier as he watches that first pitch fastball in there for a strike right down the middle.
Truman Duryea led off in this game. It could very well close it, too. See how this at-bat results.
Jalen Thomas goes to second base on the next pitch. That's upstairs for Doria, and he's there on a stolen base. He's in scoring position. But the Utah Lab's going to need a lot more than that to try to get back into this one after giving up 7 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Lucky number 7. Here's the next delivery. Upstairs, and looks like that got the strike zone. No, that misses outside as called by the umpire behind the plate. 2-1 count. 2 gone and away. Here's the next pitch from Haro, watching close by at Thomas at second base, and it got him in the back. So Doria will reach on yet another hit by pitch. That is the 4th hit by pitch handed out by the Powers pitchers here tonight.
So that stolen base that we didn't really talk about by Jalen Thomas, he didn't run full speed, and it didn't look like O'Neal, the catcher, had any urge to get him out. It's like, we're up by 7. What difference does it make? He just waltzed over like it was a walk.
That pitch is in there for a strike on the fastball to Ashton Burnett, who is stepping in here. So this was the flyout that was hit by Ashton Burnett that was made for the controversial call. That was a throw by Walton out at center field. The next pitch, a fastball, gets the inside corner for the strike. And now he's down to his final strike with 2 gone and away. Runners at first and second. Doria at first. And Jalen Thomas at second base here. Now Onharo trying to finish it off. Here's a delivery. Upstairs, misses the top corner of the strike zone. 1-2 count. Here's a 1-2 pitch from Onharo to try to finish it off. Here's that next delivery. Check swing. Appeal to the umpire. They say they got him. And that's it for the Palm Springs Power. They get the victory 9-2 after going up 7 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Another dub for the Palm Springs Power. They said it's time for the Palm Springs Power to power up. That's another W.
It was a great game. You know, it was close until the 7th, and that ejection, our manager Casey Dill really energized the Power. They scored 7 runs in the 7th, never looked back, dominant victory. So getting the loss going to B.D. Rudd, and the win going to Lucas Zach.
Lucas Zach, who's starting off this game, 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts given up. The rest of the Palm Springs Power bullpen did their job. Now Onharo finished it off with a strikeout of his own, and the Power will start the season off with 2 wins in this young season.
Well, that's all for us tonight here at the ballpark. I'm going to head down now to do the post-game interview, and we'll see you all on Tuesday night against San Diego.
Well, don't miss the fundraiser tomorrow night. But for all of us here on Fox Sports 1270 AM, Palm Springs and Palm Springs Power Baseball YouTube channel, my name is Justin Lee, Charlie Gonzalez signing off for now. And to all of our friends and family at home, we say good night from Palm Springs.
Good night.